we have a new face here, guys. A new presence, okay, on Tea Time, right? Is MikeTheGemini. Here he is. Okay, look at him. Finally, we see the green screen. Okay, he's not actually in the game. He's in real life. Amazing stuff. Hello, welcome to the show, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up, guys, and thanks.
Yes. Okay, and what better place to start, guys? Okay, than the future of the game. Okay, so basically, it's been a few weeks, like a week without content. So I think it's time to say that the game is dead. In my opinion, it's over. I'm uninstalling.
Dead game.
Yeah, dead game. No content. But, of course, there will be more content in the future. So the real question is, how is that going to go down? And one thing that I would like to look at is, where do you guys think the story of the game is going to go? Okay? Lawmaster Deroir, what are your thoughts on this? Okay? What's going on with the plot? We've done Joker.
Catching me off.
It's done.
Well, that's a really good question, isn't it? Where is the story going to go? We're left on a nice cliffhanger at the moment, aren't we? Joko's dead, or as dead as he can be, I guess. Devoured, and I think personally, I believe. Oh, my mic is a bit loud. People say. Personally, I believe that where we'll be going from here on is Aurene. I heavily believe that everything's gonna tie back into just Aurene's story thread, and Aurene is actually going to be the main story focus, where she's been more on the, like, as a side story, I guess we can call it that, till now throughout this season. She's been managed a bit off on the side, like she's here, she gives us this and that insight or blah blah blah. I think we're gonna have to truly, like, focus directly on her. Maybe even fight her. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
I'm
A change of heart,
genuine.
a change of sides.
I feel like they tried to insinuate it with, like, the last patch, or with the last story, where they kind of said that she was influenced by, or Canuck said after the credits, so to speak, that she had been influenced by the god magic. She'd been more aggressive and whatnot. I haven't really seen it until that very moment where she actually goes aggressive, but, like, Canuck is like, oh, have you noticed? But they kind of insinuated, and I feel like that's where we're gonna go, because now she has the magic of a god and the magic of an undead lich
of Joko.
Yeah. So I feel like the obvious way to go from here, or the potential, is that she's actually going to become slightly more aggressive towards us and potentially everyone else to try and obtain more power, guys. But I don't know really, because it sounds like a pretty far-fetched idea to some degree. I don't know what you guys think.
Do you know why they had to put that Canuck line in there, that she's being influenced?
Because it wasn't clear. They hadn't decided on that story thread from the very start. Yes, that's why. So that's why I said, well, we hadn't really seen her become all that angry and aggressive till that point. and they pulled this out. They pulled this card out. She's like, oh, aggressive dragon. She attacks everything. And Canuck is like, oh, hey, have you noticed, by the way?
Yeah.
It seems like, because if it's not that, then what is kind of my thinking here.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
If it's not fighting against Aurene, which other entity do we have to, like, ping pong off of? Unless we're just gonna have a fluffy duffy episode, which I do not believe.
No, there's going to be some kind of climax to the season, right? And, well, potentially kind of leading into either some more episodes, right, or the next expansion, right? So there's they want to hook you, right? They want to hook you. They want to bring you in to the content. There is going to be some kind of stepping stone, right, moving forwards, right? As there was in the previous stuff, right?
How many Living World patches do they usually do before
6?
Do
Isn't that
expansion? Is it 6?
Well,
Yeah.
Well,
it's It's been debated for a long time now whether or not
Yeah.
we're getting 6 or 8 or even 9. I've seen a lot of people speculate. Anything can really happen, I guess, because there's no clear answer.
Yeah.
There's no
Originally, I thought it was going to be 8, but the more I think about it and the way that the season's been dragged out so far, I think it's just going to be 6. They're just going to drag them out to 3 months most of the time.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe. I mean, I think 8 would be really, really good actually, because I do feel that in the previous series, the previous season rather, we did kind of see the limitation of that, where some points did feel a bit kind of like, oh, yep, let's tidy that up and let's move on, right? And I don't know, like you almost see that with Joko, right? It's kind of like, oh, yep, that's done. See you later. We're moving on. But I don't know, that could be because they're trying to fit a bit more in and maybe pack it and kind of have a bit of a second act, if you will. I kind of maybe stretch that out a bit longer.
They've already commented quite heavily on like the Joko bit being dealt with pretty quickly in some of the guild chats or whatever they're called, where they say
literally literally brought him back for fan service. I mean, let's be honest here.
They brought him back because he was very popular and they couldn't just avoid him, but they didn't want him to be. I'm paraphrasing here, but they said something to the effect of they didn't want Joko to be the main antagonist for
the expansion.
Obvious reasons. No, for obvious reasons that you will see in the near future. So they're gonna have someone else be the main antagonist, as is worded with in terms of Joko. And it's too late in the season. It's too late in the story to introduce a new character to become an antagonist of some sort. So it has to be someone that we know. And unless Timey goes rogue, and I don't believe that, as much as Inks would probably love to.
Unfortunately, Timey is. She's not going to be the antagonist, right? It's going to be Arene.
No. It's definitely going to be.
We're going to deal with Krakatoric. I think the next episode is going to be Casimir and Marjorie with Krakatoric minions and influence and what Krakatoric's been up to, and the continued story of Arene being influenced by the magic she eats and so forth, right?
I think the real question is because, like, how are they going to tie it into the Krakatoric story? Like, she is a descendant of Krakatoric. Are we going to see, like, once we actually get a Krakatoric episode or whatever, Krakatoric focused episode, are we going to see her be like pulled towards him, like the magic and the pull of him, or is she going to want to just fight him and fight everyone and everything
and assert dominance is what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how that's going to play out, but I think that they'll continue the storyline of her replacing him, sort of in his seat of power, so that there's not that void, because you can't kill another one anymore, right? Because it'll blow Tyria up and so forth.
Yeah.
So though Timey and team will figure out how to replace him or whatever the case is, right?
So that could be an arc. And then that means you can get rid of Arene too. You can have it nice and tidy for the next expansion, right? Yep, just take Krakatoric out, put Arene in there, job done.
But I feel
she's
like
a defender of the
kind
universe.
of the thing, though. I feel like that's kind of the thing with Arene. She kind of has to stick around. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have to. This is our way out of, like, or ArenaNet's storytelling way out of dealing with the dragons in a certain sense, where we don't just destroy the magic, we actually put it into a chamber that can harness it for good, and that is Arene. I guess we can call it that.
Until she becomes a massive raid boss.
So yeah, but that's exactly, we can't really kill her off because then that chance is off. But we can, like, she can go crazy or mad or whatnot, and then we have to go with this whole story of trying to convince her to do good and remember who you are, Simba, and stuff like that, right? I feel like that's the way that we could go to make this story get some spice.
Some spice. Yeah,
in like the dragon sense, because we need a
motivator, right? We need something.
Yeah, we need some motivation, but we also need to tie it back to the dragon. If there's only 6 episodes, let's assume, just for the sake of theorizing, I guess. Let's assume for a second that we have 6 episodes. That's it. Done. We only have 3 left. There's not a whole lot, and then we're looking at expansion. Let's theoretically assume that. Then we're looking at another expansion. There's only so much that they can do to like lead up to the dragon, and we have to go in the way of the dragon. Like we have to push the story that direction. Yeah, exactly. Get on track.
The way of the dragon.
No strafing off.
That's why maybe 8 makes sense then. Maybe 8. Well, I don't know. It could be 8 episodes, or maybe 3 really big ones, right? Because I mean, three episodes, which typically take, I don't know, like 2 hours to play through, is a bit of a stretch to tell another section of the story. If you ask me, don't you think? I mean, that's pretty difficult. I mean,
maybe
there will be 3. It's 3 maps, of course. I mean, I guess 5 episodes. That would mean they would have to add 5 maps, but maybe they will.
Magnus Godric's got it. There's 3 legendaries left. 3 legendaries. 3 episodes.
Oh shit!
But I mean, we can stretch that. So let's say on the final episode, they also they put in another episode with the legendary trinket.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That makes 7.
And then you'll, on the 6th episode, you'll finally get your next raid wing. You get another ring.
Well, on the 6th episode, on the last episode, in 8 months,
6 to 9 months from now, you'll
get that new raid wing.
You'll get your new raid wing.
Yeah. I can't wait.
That'll be terrific.
Hope it comes with a glider skin. What?
Yeah. Nice joke, Deroir. Okay, nice joke. That isn't going to happen. I don't know. It's a hot topic for speculation, guys. I don't know. And the story will it's got to heat up at some point. I guess it already got pretty spicy. It's going to be, in my opinion, it actually is going to be a really tough act to follow, because I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed that. I realize some people had their criticisms of it, but I loved that. It was great. It was hilarious. It amused me, and especially with Aurene eating him at the end.
The final, I didn't so much like the Aurene part, but
the
final scene of Joko and putting himself back together and his calling you a massive idiot and making fun of Bram the whole time. It was good.
It was great.
It was good. I'll miss that writing.
That's crazy to see how much ANET has improved with
the writing. The writing is still sticking around. Sorry, Mike.
For Joko. Jeez, man, listen to the whole conversation.
Oh my god.
Jeez, slightly disagree.
I am just not gonna get into that now. Oh my god. Sorry, Mike. You were saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
I just think it's funny how far ANET has come, I guess, in terms of writing their stories over the course of the. I don't know if all of you played Guild Wars 1. I'm assuming most of you. But,
yeah.
Some of the cutscenes that they
had. Like that cheese? You like that cheese? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can just remember this one. You get out of Xingji or whatever, and then there's a stupid delayed cutscene where Master Togo comes up, and then somebody goes, "Oh, Master Togo!" It's like, okay, and that was like the cutscene, but they've gotten a lot better. And like, I can even remember like when I actually liked the part where Aurene kind of went nuts, right? I wasn't really expecting it. It was right in the middle of Joko doing his whole soliloquy or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then boom, just done. I was like, oh, I started cracking up. It was the greatest thing.
Yeah, exactly. There's a special place in my heart, okay, for the Guild Wars 1 stuff. I don't know. It's a little cheesy, okay? It's not the best fidelity, okay? Guild Wars 2's got a lot higher production value, shall we say, when it comes to the cutscenes and the story execution. But I don't know, it is still funny. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Mike. You really are. The quality that we have seen from Guild Wars 2, it's certainly a step up. We've gone through a few rough patches. Traherne, Scarlet. Okay, we've had some issues. Okay, but we've transcended all of that. And we have arrived in a pretty good place where I do find the story to be quite enjoyable, and the way it blends with the world is also very, very pleasing indeed. So yeah, you got to tip the hat to ArenaNet. They've kind of found found their feet after nearly 6 years, ladies and gentlemen. No, I am joking.
I mean, better late than never.
All right.
Better late than
Okay.
never.
But it's very good stuff. The story is good, and I think it will continue to be good as well. Hopefully. But then again, who knows? Maybe it'll be trash. Maybe it'll be trash, Deroir. Okay? Have you thought about
But if it's good, let's embrace it, all right? Let's not just trash it, all right? Let's just, yes.
Yeah? You're not gonna...
I mean, okay. I guess I can go in on it for just a second. A lot of people ask me like about this topic. Usually I don't really talk about it. I stray away from it. Okay. I will talk about it in broad details here. You guys will understand probably, most likely. There has been some comments about, or there's been one particular comment about the future of the living story. And you guys will know what it is. If you don't just ignore the next 60 seconds. All right. All I'll say is that for the next episode or the next season, for the entire season, let's just embrace that it's good. Let's not go in with any presuppositions. All right, let's embrace that if it's good, it's good. But let's not expect it to be shit just because. Well, you know. Yeah. All right, agreed. Let's agree. Gentleman's handshake on that. All right.
Yeah, I completely agree, Deroir. Okay, and you know what? I think it will be good.
Yeah, I definitely believe it will. I definitely believe it's going to be great.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, that's very PMA. That's very PMA, Deroir. Right. Okay, that's
positive mental attitude.
It's always good. It's always good to have a positive mental
attitude. I slightly agree, but
you slightly agree.
Weir's there.
Yeah, to be serious for a minute. I mean, ArenaNet has been, for years actually. They've been very prominent on. It's a team effort. I mean, let's be realistic. It's not one person doing all the writing. It's an entire narrative team that writes for each episode. So I don't expect there to be any quality change in the writing that we've seen so far, or story direction, or any of that other stuff. It's been improving since season 3, maybe even slightly before that, but it's been getting better and better since season 3. Path of Fire, which had a different team of writers, or a slightly different team of writers, was really good. So I don't expect there to be any change. It's been going good so far for the most part.
Completely agree. Completely agree.
Yeah. I also completely agree. I think the quality will continue. Okay, we'll see where it goes, and I think it'll still be good. It'll still be good, even with some cutbacks. Okay,
let's okay. On to the next one.
I think it's run its course. It's run its course. The other kind of story outlet that we're going to be seeing is, of course, something dear to a lot of our hearts. Okay, that's raiding, guys. Raids. Okay. Yes. Wing 6. We've been starved of raid content for, what is it? Nearly 9 months now. Wait, yeah, it is like 9 months. What the fuck? That's quite a situation we've got ourselves into, isn't it? It feels good, man, with the gun. But yeah, no, Wing 6 feels amazing, man. But yeah, it's, hang on, here's the timer. Let's see, what do we got here?
Wait, there's a timer for it.
250 days without a raid wing.
Why?
Holy shit.
All right. And that is a situation. All right. That's not good. But I'm pretty certain that from things we've gleaned on the AMA, that the raid wing will be arriving with the next living story, which should be, when should that be? When are we due the living story? In what is it? Probably about 2 months, right? From now. What do you guys reckon? 2 months?
Yeah, about 2 months.
I'd say I actually. I need to look
September.
at September. Yeah, I'm thinking a month and a half ish. Maybe like Inks is Zane probably like
mid to end September is my guess right now.
September.
Hold up, let's calendar time.
Yeah. Okay, so September.
This
Right.
might be optimistic too. I don't know.
It might.
Well, yeah,
You never know when things come down the line.
Yeah, we're
the
assuming
issue-
the 2-month schedule, right? Or something
If
like
it's
that.
in
right.
October, because people are saying in October, if it's in October, it'll be the beginning of October.
If it's
Because then you'll
October,
have
if it's October, it's going to be the last episode we see this year. I'll just point that out.
Yeah.
It's going to be the absolute last. If it's in September, there's a chance we might get another one. There's a chance. But if it is
Actually, I
in
didn't think
October,
about
that is the end of
You're
it.
right.
That's the end of. We're getting Winter's Day, and then 2019 start of 2019, we'll get another episode.
beginning of
Not
February.
before that.
Yeah, beginning of February, you'll see another episode.
So it's a question of how long they want to drag it out. If we're looking at six episodes, let's say October, then January 2019. What we got? Then we got almost midway through the year, and then we're hyping up for the expansion in October 2019. That's perfect, right?
Well, that is a schedule that makes a lot of sense to me, right? And that's how we've seen it develop with regards to Path of Fire and Heart of Thorns as well. Kind of went like that, except not, a little bit like that. But that's the sort of thing we've come to expect, and that would make a lot of sense. And you know what? I like to think that the delays in content production are because not only are they working on another expansion, they're also doing Guild Wars 3. So there's a big workload. Okay, big workload there, guys. Okay, Guild Wars 3 and expansion at the
I
same
hope
time.
not.
Yeah, you hope not? No, they're doing
No.
Guild Wars 3 to write a new engine. Okay,
Mate, I don't
new
know.
engine. Do you know? Okay, you can actually get more than 10 FPS in the new engine. Leaked.
Wait, can you not already?
No, I did. I play at 3 FPS.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm using NVIDIA's special fucking frame technology to put the frames back in the stream. Okay? Yeah, you seen that? You seen that?
Good guy NVIDIA. They're helping you out by giving you extra frames.
Exactly, they're giving me those extra frames. Okay, those secret frames.
If they're working on GW3 though, like that would be coming out in like 5 years?
Yeah, probably something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
At least.
Speaking of delayed content, well, actually, if it's in 5 years, all right, let's go work on GW3. Yeah, it's probably going to be perfectly timed. With all the other stuff coming out as well.
But anyway, back to the raid. New raid, guys. Okay, that's going to happen at some point. Okay, there's a few.
Please, ArenaNet. Please, I'm starving. Look
Yeah,
at me.
you're starving
Look at
for
me. I'm
content.
wasting away to nothing.
Yeah. Guys, alright, here's the ultimatum. ArenaNet, if you do not release the raid, Inks will die of starvation. Okay?
You forgot the time frame.
Oh, shit.
Because like they will release a raid.
Okay, we're going to need that within, how about next week? Okay, we know it's finished. Just kind of shuffle it into that build. Do a normal Tuesday patch. You can maybe a mount skin or something. Get some gemstone stuff in there. Boom. Okay, get it in there. Otherwise, Inks will not be able to feast. Okay, he needs to feast on the tiers of casuals. Okay,
that's right,
guys. We're gonna need. Yeah, we need that raid to be really difficult. Okay, so no one can do it. Right, put a DPS check in there as well, and make sure that you actually have to be an elitist to do it. Okay, and then Inks will be able to feast. Okay.
Every boss needs to be Doom CM difficult. There needs to be 10 of them.
Yep.
The final boss needs to be Arene, which completes their story.
Yep.
No easy mode, no story mode, no baby clouds, none of that stuff. And there needs to be excessive amounts of like infusion loot you can sell on the trading post.
Ooh.
That's
what it needs to happen.
So basically, the raiders get rich and the casuals are just forced to just be out there in the dirt. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's happening.
MMO Inks hates casuals.
I don't hate casuals, but I do enjoy tiers.
Fucking despises them.
No.
It's not hate, it's just literal disgust. Confirmed here on TeaTime. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, there are numerous stories that could get explored there. Like one I will be, I would like to see will be the Cormier's Library, guys. Okay, that would be really hype. Okay, as a raid.
We hyped that up so much, like before the Underworld.
But then we
talked about it forever, and then it never happened.
But it will be kind of the same thing, though, right? Because the Underworld is Grant's domain, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I still believe it's going to be like maybe it is going to be exactly that, and the raid portal in the Path of Fire area, like we've talked about before, will be the raid. That is There's definitely a way, but I still believe that we're actually just going to get another Underworld wings, or just that we are going to get another Underworld wing. I just
Really?
find it to be, I just find it to be the most likely. They're working, or they could be working with the Dismena.
Who else is left in Underworld? Doom is.
It's not about what's left. It's about telling a new story now, because they cleared the board. We still have all the entities of the Underworld, and they can expand on that story. They have free reins to tell any story that's not necessarily a throwback like every other piece of content that we get in this game. They could literally tell a completely new story in an Underworld with new characters, new everything. Dismena is their way out with that, but the question is whether or not they want to do that, or they want to throw more throwback stuff at us, because I don't mind either way.
Do you think if they were going to do the Underworld again, why wouldn't they have saved Doom?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That's slightly
that's
weird.
Exactly it, though.
I mean,
that's exactly it. They have to clear the board. It's gone. He's dead. The next one is going to be Dismena.
We already beat her. She's easy.
Around.
We already got.
No. We already beat her essence. We never actually beat her.
Yeah, we kicks her ass.
We only beat her body.
Ooh.
Not her soul.
Ooh.
No, but oh my god, you know what I mean. He split her body from her soul. You.
Ooh.
Everyone shouldn't be saying that.
I am the only one
Deroir.
who's saying that.
Unbelievable.
Oh my gosh.
Christ. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. All right. Anyways, my point still stands. I believe if they continue with the Underworld, it's gonna be a new story entirely. It's not gonna be a lot of the throwback. The areas is still gonna be there probably if it happens, but hey, who knows? So alternatively,
they would
what I
with
want the
fully
most,
new
though.
enemies. Yeah, guys.
Yeah. What I want the most, though, is definitely the Cormier's Library or the Fissure of Woe. I kind of want them to start on that. I feel like now that they've started up the Underworld, they can always revisit it later on. It's not like they have to finish the story now or go along with the story now of the Underworld. They can always go back and add more wings to the Underworld. Same could be said about the Fissure of Woe, potentially.
So do you think it's going to be Path of Fire theme related? Because the first couple of raid wings were kind of White Mantle Season 3 story related, sort of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they're trying to completely separate the two, completely detach the raid from, and I think it's all based on. Oh my god, Iron Biscuit! You did that clip? No. Fuck me. That. Oh my god, I completely lost it there. The stories are going to be separate. Definitely going to be separate. I think it's based off of a lot of the community feedback where people are scared that the living story and all of those essential things for the story are told in raids. I think they've taken that to heart, and they're just completely separating the two now.
All right, so you don't even think thematically.
No, I think actually there's a very big likelihood that Cormier's library is that story, and that portal is never actually going to be used because of that problem or dilemma. Or
because the first 4 raid wings were White Mantle and then the Mersat prison, right? So those were sort of thematically all linked together in a way. Like I know the Mersat prison is not exactly linked directly to the White Mantle, but there's a thematic tie there.
There's a link. You know? Yeah.
So Underworld, gosh, the raid content has been so freaking slow. You got Underworld, you know, like you said, Underworld 2 or an extension of Underworld, but I don't know what is left like in the Underworld.
They're gonna make something new.
The only that's exactly it. The only thing that's left are the areas, basically.
Okay.
The only thing that's left, everything like the big bosses, they're out, they're gone. They now have a blank slate to tell a new story in the Underworld, where either either we're fighting with or against Desmina to reclaim her throne. The question is really just like, do they want to continue that story, or is that a story thread for like way down the line? Because let's say I'm putting up a hypothetical situation here, obviously, for a story. Let's say Grenth does not agree with Desmina basically replacing him as the leader of the Underworld. Grenth might be our guide through the Underworld, so to speak, to save him, to carry out his will, to reinstate the Reapers or whatnot, something like that. I don't know. To take down Desmina, and then she's actually super difficult to beat. I really had to like watch my words there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be interesting.
It's gonna be really hard to make a raid wing based on the Underworld. I mean, because Doom is dead, and he's the boss. He's the big guy. I was actually kind of disappointed they put Doom in it right away, because I thought there was gonna be like a sequential raid thing, you know?
Yeah. That was kind of the big thing that would suggest to me that it would be a single raid wing, kind of a standalone thing. Because I don't know, I almost feel like Bastion the Penitent, although yeah, it does have a white mantle theme, it was very much a standalone raid wing, right? I don't think it was It wasn't directly linked. The story of Bastion of the Penitent was not directly linked to the stories of Wings 1 through 3. I almost feel that they think it was really hard to do Wings 1 through 3, and maybe like that they couldn't really keep up with the pacing of linking raid wings together as well. I think that's probably also a concern for them. Like, they don't want to leave people hanging. I think in particular, where was like the mega gap? Was there like a really big gap between Wing 2 and 3, I think? That was a kind of a funny meme.
Wasn't it 3 and 4? Or
was it 3 and 4?
Maybe it's
3 and 4.
Well,
either way, maybe it was 3 and 4. There's like, oh, we need a break after that, man. Like, it was big. It was big stuff. Yeah, either way, right? So there, things happen. I think they want to stray away from that and make it more self-contained, almost.
Yeah, maybe.
Right, so they can keep everything together a little bit, and and maybe make it easier to manage, as in a lot of ways, like from the design perspective, like of the actual fights themselves, but also the story. Like, probably makes it a little less complicated to manage all the threads going on, and it kind of allows them to explore more things. Think about it, if they commit to at the pacing we're experiencing now, guys, if they if they say, right, we want to do a triple raid wing story, boys, okay, that's gonna take like nearly 2 years of committal, right?
It's just a shame, because I feel like in other MMOs, World of Warcraft being one of the bigger ones, but even in Rift, for those who played Rift, Hammernell was an excellent raid, and it was a large raid instance with varying wings and so forth. Not separate wings necessarily like there are in World of Warcraft, but different directions. Think of like the latest Fractal. How you can go to the left side, you can go to the right side. And Rift's Hammernell was kind of like that. You could go to the left path or the right path, but eventually you had to kill all the bosses anyway. But I don't know, I guess I kind of just like that large branching raids, castle kind of things. But under the way we currently get them, I just don't know how feasible that really is, unfortunately.
No. I mean, yeah.
We are overdue. Maybe they'll give us something where they give us multiple wings at once. I mean, sometimes they... I don't know. I mean, ANET has historically kind of added in little, secrets to the patches where it's like, oh, there's a new mount. Oh my gosh. Oh, there's
secret
a griffin
raid
in the game. Like, we didn't know that these things were even there.
Wait a minute, Mike. Are you telling me that the new raid wing could already be in the game?
We just haven't
and they
found
just
it.
didn't tell us.
I don't know.
Guys, get on the
That would be
API,
something.
scrape the API right now, okay? Find that hidden achievement that unlocks the raid wing, okay?
It's
Can you imagine?
It's a big doggy raid. All those dogs that were data mined, yes, they lead to the raid.
The
entrance
dogs.
that's happening.
We've just got to find it. Mike, you've just exposed ArenaNet, okay? That's nice. Okay, that is nice. Hey, multiple raid wings in one go. I mean, if that was possible, yes, that would be awesome. I would love for the content to be lengthy enough that progression would take like multiple weeks, right? Now I realize that would for that to happen, there needs to be one thing. There needs to be something though. Okay, multiple fights of Doom CM difficulty. If that was going to happen, right? And that might be a bit of a stretch. I think Wing 5 is already considered. I mean, the next raid is probably going to be easier than Wing 5 because people were, whoa, guys, it's pretty hard. I mean, whoa. So I think they're probably going to tone it down a little bit, unfortunately. But I mean, it would be. Sad. I think it would be amazing if ArenaNet said, all right, here we go, 0 events, okay, 0 events, 6 bosses. All with CMs. Okay? 6 CMs. Okay? It takes like 2 weeks to fully progress through all the CMs.
That'd be great.
Just imagine that. Okay, imagine
Big
that
clap.
content.
If that happened, yeah.
That would be
take my money.
God tier. Okay, guys, right? That would be God tier.
Yeah.
Jesus, there's like a giant insect in my room. It could be God. No. Right, okay. Never mind. Okay, yeah, it will be amazing. Oh yeah, and also daily CMs. Okay, daily CMs.
You're asking for too much
No.
now.
Okay, weekly CMs. No, monthly CMs or something. I don't know. Just
Monthly
something
would
with
be
CMs.
good. That would be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, monthly Doom CM. Okay, so think about that. Wait, no, that's casual shit. That's weak. I want daily Doom CM.
So.
Daily Doom CM. In fact, you know what? You know dailies, guys. 10 AP. All right. Put that shit in, okay? So think about it, okay? You're level 2, right? Imagine you've just come into the game, right? You want to do some dailies, okay? You see daily Doom CM. It inspires you to raid because you want Doom CM. You want to do it daily because you want to complete your daily.
Mm-hmm.
You're forced to do Doom CM. You're forced to get good at the game because of a daily.
Forced.
Hey, if they keep the same loot that you get from finishing them, it might actually fix the price of the food.
Exactly.
So.
It can fix
Food is
those
way
the
too
butternut. Yeah,
expensive.
they can fix the butternut. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, hourly Doom CM. Hourly.
What if they gave you like
Doom CM.
Hourly.
This wouldn't happen, but what if they gave you like 10 gold for a daily, weekly, monthly Doom CM?
I mean, it wouldn't be completely off, would it? They're giving gold left, right, and center to PvP players.
Yeah.
Just for playing,
that's
just
true.
for losing a match.
I can see it.
I mean,
Yeah, you don't even have to win. You don't have to be good. Yeah,
so there's that.
yeah, stuff like that will be great. I don't think it necessarily has to be anything fancy, right? I mean, when it comes to repeatable CMs in general, it doesn't have to be crazy. It could just be gold. It could just be, I don't know, one of those those box of Raider supplies, right? That throws out
that'd probably be the best,
an
yeah.
ascended, like some food, or it throws out some like an ascended crafting material. I mean, because if you really got good at Doom CM, you could one-shot it very consistently, I would say. Like even
Yeah,
with
but if it's a weekly for 10 gold, like it's
yeah, that's good. That's free 10 gold.
then yeah, exactly.
You're already making that anyway. You're making more than that. You're making 14 gold a week if you're doing dailies, right?
Yeah.
Dailies? Oh yeah.
I think it could be a bit.
right.
It could be a bit stronger than 10 gold. I would say it could be a bit more than that. But
Yeah,
it
I mean,
doesn't
10
have
gold
to,
is a random number, right? It's whatever.
it doesn't have to be a lot though. That's not exactly the point, right? I mean, I realize that I've always been the kind of guy who said you should do things not because you've been given the carrot, right? Because you actually enjoy it, and I kind of do hold to that. Like I just do Doom CM all the time, randomly, just for no reason, to a certain extent, right? And I do actually like the Wing 4 CMs as well. Like I mean, Ken is a bit lame, but hey, what are you gonna do, right? Then I do them a fair amount, even for no rewards, right? Because they are fun, right? That's how the game should be. The players should be motivated to do the hard mode, the challenge mode, because it's more engaging, it's more fun, right? I mean, not because like, aha, it's a good thing there's a reward here, or else I wouldn't do it, right? Because think about it, like when you do, when we first did stuff like Doom CM, right? You weren't making a profit on it, right? Because it's a goddamn clown fiesta. It takes ages. You're draining your entire life trying to beat Doom CM. It is at the end of the day about the about the fun of and the fun of doing it and making. That's why you actually repeat stuff to a certain extent, or why you should repeat stuff, in my opinion. Like, you should want to because you actually enjoy the challenge, not because it's giving you a big carrot. The carrot is kind of a side effect almost, right? Like, of course, yeah, you should be rewarded for beating the most challenging PvE content in the game, right? But I don't think it's actually strictly necessary, right?
Obviously, it's not necessary. I completely agree. You should do it for the fun, but it seems like just from my perspective, it seems like a bit of a weird piece of content to have in any kind of game. To have the hardest boss in the game literally not give you anything. It just feels backwards.
Yeah.
Like, it does. Design-wise, it feels backwards. It's not necessarily a matter of we need the carrot. It's just it feels, well, weird.
Well, I think too, like
Lackluster.
dailies to some extent. This is not true for everybody, but dailies to some extent direct gameplay. I feel like now for me personally, when there's a daily dungeon, which is not nearly frequent enough, I'll go out of my way to probably do that dungeon, unless it's like a raw or something, and that can be a bit annoying. But for the most part, you know, if there was like a weekly, or they went back to a monthly, and we've talked about this before, but if they went back to like a monthly thing of kill these raid bosses or something, I would try to do it, just because it sort of directs the content. You want those extra little rewards.
What if, speaking of the daily dungeons, because the dailies for dungeons, they only give extra tokens. What if it literally was just extra tokens? Say you get 50 or 100 of those, what are they fucking called? Gating crystals for doing the CM.
And that will be good. I mean,
I would actually go double thumbs up. That's kind of great.
So, again, you know, it doesn't have to be this massively elaborate ploy, right? It could be something as simple as that, just a few extra shards, right? A few extra shards here and there. They do have a gold value as well, right? They have that attached to it. Because you can convert them into you could get a bench, you can get a ghostly infusion. I think that the worry with adding too many shards, although I guess it wouldn't add that many because not too many people actually do Doom CM, would be that it would just devalue everything. I mean, look at how ghosties are now, right? Yeah,
exactly. That's going to happen regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter what.
You have to think about this too: is that ANet's going to put the resources to where the herds of people are, and to be frank, I don't think there's going to be a lot of people playing the game who are at the level where they've got Doom CM, even that. And if you're doing it
if they're not,
multiple times,
they might not be farming Doom CM.
Yeah. I mean, what's in it for them too? I think.
Yeah, and this is always the concern when we talk about CMs. To a certain extent, it is the niche of the niche, right? The majority of raiders don't do Doom CM, right? And the majority of players don't do raids. So we're talking a bit of we've got a bit of a situation. There really is minimal overall interest, I suppose. So of course the amount of developer time they're willing to actually place on CM, well, raids for a start, but then on top of that, then you have CMs, right? If it's ever going to happen, and this is actually, no insult, this is actually one of the awesome things about the devs, right? They'll have these like side projects, right? Okay, that aren't like they'll be doing like as a just for fun, right? And that's probably what it's going to end up being. If repeatable CMs happen, it will never be like part of I guess like the official thing. It's probably going to be just something that a dev does on the side, right? Because they love the idea of that, right? And much like the Edge of the Mists arena, right? Like it's a really weird thing, right? It's like this GVG arena that was done as a side project by some of the devs, right? Which is awesome, right? That's really great that this sort of thing can happen, but that's probably how it's going to go, unfortunately, with regards to CM. So I'm not exactly hopeful, but it's not the end of the world, right? If Wing 6 comes out and there's another 4 bosses or something like that, or 4 encounters, I think about it, we're going to be farming 21 encounters a week. There is going to be at a point where we are going to be very, very wealthy and have an insane amount of ascended gear. I mean, 21 encounters a week. That's going to be a lot of ascended gear, a lot of gold, and a lot of those champ bags. Do you know how good those champ bags are? They're fucking OP. Okay.
Yeah, they are.
I would say that I would lean more towards there's the possibility to farm 21 or however whatever number you said bosses, because I don't know how many raid groups actually clear every boss every week. Now I know it's sort of a meme and a joke, or maybe people are being serious that the raid community is dying or dead or whatever the case is. The reality that I see on a more normal basis is there's a lot more casual raid groups out there that clear maybe a wing or two per week rather than clearing all of the bosses. And there's still a number of us making progression on Doom CM or Doom in general, I think. That's not an excuse for there not to be another raid wing. I want another raid wing even though I haven't killed Doom. But I just think like it's the possibility of farming all those bosses every week or picking which raids you really want to do to farm that content.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is years ago that I made this statement. I think it was Brazil. We were having the same conversation about weeklies or whatnot, and we only had one wing at the time, and Brazil was one of the heavy advocates at the time for getting at least some value out of repeating it every single day. And I said, there's going to be a time where we have too many bosses to ever be able to like complete all of them in the span of a single day, let alone a week for most players. And I feel like that it's very important for the hardcore people like ourselves, or many of us at least, many of the people in community and watching here in chat, to realize that maybe we could set aside 6 hours or 10 hours or however much it's going to be in the future a week to get all of these bosses done. But it's not about clearing all of the raids every single time.
Casual Deroir or something?
No, but like one of also made a really good comment here just a second ago, saying you don't need to clear every single raid boss every single week to be a raider. That's not what it's about. It's not about clearing.
Right, that was my point. I think that the majority of the more casual raid groups don't do that. I think they clear, either whatever they're progressing on, they try to clear, or they're clearing, maybe 1 or 2 wings a week or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine. And I also think that's kind of what the devs have envisioned. Certainly, when we get to 6, 7 raid wings, will be. It's going to be a case of a lot of players will choose to just clear almost the newer ones to a certain extent, right? There are some that will be good for farming gold, but a lot of it will be you're going to want to access the new rewards. Right.
Yeah.
For example,
I mean, I for one, if it wasn't for my static group every Monday, I would not be doing wings 1 through 4. No way. At least 1 through 3, I wouldn't touch them with a.
Wait, what? Why not?
10-foot pole. No, I'm done. I have everything from it. There's nothing. I've run them millions of times. I've had my fun. I don't find half of the bosses to be fun anymore.
Fair enough.
Really don't. It's only fun because I'm with my friends. It's not fun inherently.
Oh,
I've experienced.
Oh yeah. I know. Yeah, I guess that's kind of how I feel, and a lot in general. I mean, I've kind of, I don't know. I've done raids so many times. Like maybe, like I'm one of the most raided players in the entire game, actually, because I clear every raid wing on like 4 or 5 accounts every week. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
That's some good shit. Okay, that's some good shit. So it's good. I mean, but yeah, it's all about playing with friends for me at this point, right? Or doing meme stuff, right? It's either meme strats or playing with friends. That's definitely true. But yeah, I guess I do have a bit of a warped perspective on it because I do kind of always have the awesome community of Salt around me, right? So I guess it doesn't wear on me as much as it does for most people, like perhaps the more average player, if you will, okay, like average play time, I should say, okay, because not everyone has all that time to dump okay, in doing some raids, especially if you're pugging, right? I imagine that would be, oh, looks like my pug wiped to escort again. Feels good, man. Right?
Yeah,
So,
I don't know. I don't know how people do that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that ain't great. So I can certainly see that wearing a little thin after a while. That's kind of how it goes in all games, though. So it's not really a criticism of Guild Wars 2. It's just how it goes across the board, right? Like, the old content eventually becomes less relevant than it used to be. As the march of time, right? You'll have the new stuff and the new rewards and stuff like that, and you can kind of get in there. But yeah. I don't know. I think I'll probably always keep clearing until I literally can't do it. Okay? And that's when you just pick up the pace. Teapot's bored. Let's pick up the pace, please, guys. Let's go. Okay? More speed. More speed. Yeah. 7 raid wings. 7 raid wings, then it's the next expansion. Boom. Guys, wait. Oh, wait. Okay. So if we get a new raid wing in 2 months, will we get another one before the expansion?
Yes.
Yes.
I avidly believe that. I truly believe that. They've already said. Let's assume.
I don't know.
Let's assume for a second that it is as far along as we believe it to be. It is practically done, right? And it's been probably shelved for a few weeks.
I think it is done.
Maybe even a month. Just waiting, and they deliberately withheld it from the last one.
Audio wasn't done for the last one.
Yeah. But okay, let's say that they deliberately stalled it, not withheld it, but stalled it because they figured, all right, we're gonna split the fractals and the raids now. We don't want any more of these triple releases. So we have these devs working on other things after the episode goes live. They go back, they finish the raid off. It's practically done now. Let's assume that is the truth. That's the situation. That means they're working on Wing 7 with Wing 6 just waiting to happen. That, assuming that's the thing, then if they have scheduled everything correctly, as we assume they now should be on a schedule of a by episode schedule for fractals and then raids afterwards subsequently. Then next episode we're getting a raid. Next episode again, a fractal, and then a raid again. I thoroughly believe that is what they're trying to aim for now.
Yeah.
Maybe. And I would not be surprised if that actually comes to fruition. It's a bit of a backlog, though, for them to work with.
No meme, but I strongly disagree.
Fair enough.
I don't think I would love to live in the world of Deroir.
I'm on the Deroir train. I'm on Deroir's ass.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Okay.
Birthday
present, boys. Okay.
I would love to believe that. I really would. My problem is you're probably looking. When would the Wing 7 release? Probably like May to July. My problem with that is if they do that, and that is a possibility, I think, but if they do that and the next expansion releases in September, October, then you have no raid wing for, God, I don't even want to know how long. Many months.
Are you sure?
I mean, it could be that the next expansion is much longer off, but I don't think it is.
Let's say they drop the next raid wing in then 3 months after with the first living story of the season after the expansion, because that would kind of make sense, wouldn't it?
I just don't think they can produce them that fast.
You might be right. It might be you might be waiting 6 months from the expansion announcement for the next raid. It depends, though. It truly depends. How far along. There must have been a reason. Here's my thinking. There must have been a reason for the dev. I forget who it was that said it, but for the dev who commented on Reddit to say that we aim to have faster releases, there must have been a reason. Like, they must have been optimistic enough and realistic enough in their assumptions, because they've worked with it for a long time. It's all about managing your expectations. If ArenaNet lowers their expectations for where they want to take raids, say they just say every other raid is only 2 bosses, let's just assume that you're massively cutting down the production time. You are actually able to potentially put out faster content if you lower that internal quality bar. But that's not necessarily going to be a detriment to the raid scene unless there's 9 months in between every single raid release. And that's where people falter because of the track record. We can't really allow ourselves to believe that there's going to be faster raid releases. We can't really allow ourselves to believe that just because a two boss raid wing comes out, that the next one is going to be so much better or it's going to come out faster. Because
the longer I think about this and like talk to people about it, and I don't mean to be like a Debbie Downer about this.
Debbie Downer.
The lower my expectations are for like when they're gonna be able to give us the content. And like when they put out a trailer, for example, and they have a date on it, it says, okay, we're gonna do it on the 25th. Like that's when I know in my head, like, okay, it's gonna come on September 25th. And everything else other than that, it's like speculation. And they put out these general timelines and stuff, and it hasn't historically been followed that greatly, I feel like. With raids in particular, right?
Yeah. I don't know why we get baited. I really don't, Mike. This is a good point. At first, we find out, it was like, yeah, we're going to do 6 wings a year. Okay? 6 wings a year. All right? Yeah. Good. That's good. And now we hear, you know what? We're gonna speed up the content. Okay, we get nothing for 9 months, probably 10 months.
I mean, yeah, you can always say that you want to aim to release faster. I mean, of course they do. Like, it's gonna make them money. It's gonna get people happier. I mean,
yeah. So. One thing that I think we can try and do. Yeah, we can try and do with regards to raids. I love how this has just turned into raid time. It really shows where our hearts lie, doesn't it? Okay. We need to find a way, or ArenaNet needs to find a way to kind of engage the entire player base with raids, right? If you want to hype up raids, because right now it's kind of seen the raids are a bad rep, right? If you talk about raids, people think elitism. Toxicity.
But okay? You can't change it though. You can't change it without taking away the quality that the rest of us really enjoy. You can't implement
there is a way.
You can't implement easy mode for the general public.
You can, I'm afraid.
And then expect.
Wing 4 is a good example.
No. Yeah. I see. Mike, what I'm talking about.
It's got the easiest.
Can I finish my sentence just for a second?
Do it.
Yeah.
We can't. Oh, fuck off. I'll restart. We cannot implement easy mode without taking away the quality for a lot of players because it's going to be inherent to the design of the entire raid wing. You cannot market it for the general public and the 1% at the same time. It's not going to work in practice. I do not believe so.
Why not?
How would you?
Well, easy mode or story mode or baby mode or whatever the heck you want to call it.
Does that
just remove mechanics and reduce HP? It's really
does that make raids interesting, or does that just feed the story to people? There's a huge difference because you're not going to cater. You're not going to get a new influx of population with getting an easy mode. You're going to get the same players who did not want to do it to begin with to go through the raid once to get the story and then bus off. You're not going to get an influx. People are not going to get enticed by it unless you make the baseline quality of it and the baseline difficulty just overall lower. Yeah, you cannot introduce an easy mode for people to just bust through and then fuck off because you're not going to get anything out of it.
I kind of think that's the only way to go. I mean, well, not necessarily the only way to go. I'd have to have we'd have to have a heart-to-heart with the developers, right? I'd have to. If the question was if they released raids with a very easy mode, right? That still give loot and stuff, right? But then they implement repeatable CMs, and the CMs are actually a lot harder, basically how the actual fight should be, if not harder, right? Then I think that's fine. As Mike was saying, this is a very good point. I think Wing 4 is a good example of this. The bosses are pretty fucking easy. But on challenge mode, that's kind of how the fights are supposed to be experienced. They're actually fun fights. The only trouble there is that the 1%ers, right? Okay, the elitists, you're forced to do easy mode, basically, right? You're more or less forced into it because, I mean, why would you do CMs? There's no point in repeating it, right? Like, if you just want to go farm it for loot, there's no reason to do the hard mode, right? And again, here's the thing. You could argue, right? Again, this is probably what a lot of maybe the developers would say is like, well, you know what? If you want the challenge on your weekly clear, why not do it with CM enabled, right? Just do it. Just do it with CMs. And actually, like, honestly, I think I hate to play devil's advocate here, guys, but I actually don't really have an argument against that. Because if you say, well, you know, I don't want, dude, why the fuck should I do CMs? I get nothing for it. Then you're in it for the rewards, so you don't really care about the challenge, do you? Okay, so it's like, you're in a difficult position if you try and argue against that as a try-hard player, right? If you're not doing CMs every week, maybe you don't care so much about the challenge. Maybe you do just want the rewards, you know what I mean? And that's, yeah, I have no argument against that position.
I'd love to see how big the influx of players was from Wing 4 to the general raid community, so to speak. We say that Wing 4 is easier, and we've advertised it many times because it is easier. It's yeah, I'll stand by that. But how many people went from trying out that Wing 4 to actually going and raiding more and sticking around and pushing themselves to the CMs and all that? Because that's where it becomes interesting. That's the argument that we have here. If you introduce easy mode, an easier raid, there needs to be an overflow ramp, from that easy mode to to the rest of it. If that does not come true, then easy mode does not pay out, and it's just wasted dev time. There is no reason to have easy mode if it does not foster general growth of the scene, because it's only going to detract from actual growth.
That's
I
interesting.
thoroughly believe that.
What if it was kind of like Fractals too, where it's got a level and you get into it low and you build your way up to get into the harder content? Like, what if you couldn't do CMs right away because of some barrier or something? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how it should be. I don't think, because we saw some funkiness with Wing 5, right? For example, Desmina CM was cleared before Doom, right? Like, people did Doom, but, while everyone else was working on Doom, some intrepid pugs decided they wanted to do Desmina CM, right? So that got, I do think you should have to have cleared the raid wing before you enable CMs, 100%, yeah. Absolutely, I would say. But in terms of difficulty ramp, I mean, that's kind of where, in my opinion, larger raid wings kind of come into play. So imagine Spirit Veil, guys. Okay, Spirit Veil. Veil Guardian is like easier than Mirzar Overseer, right? They make it like a fucking joke. Okay. Gorseville can stay how it is because he's already a joke, all right? And then they kind of ramp the difficulty up over the 9 bosses, right? And you have the epic climax of Zera, who's gonna fuck you up instead of being kind of easy cheesy, right? So that would be kind of a way to do it as well, like have a ramp as you progress through the raid wing. And again, you could almost do that in Wing 5, right? You have 4 encounters. If they were 4 bosses, or I don't know, you could kind of shuffle the order, right? You could start with Spirit Road, right? Okay. And then you could go on to statues, and then you have Desmina, then Doom, right? And in fact, I mean, or any order there, right? Well, Desmina, then Doom will make more sense. I don't know. You could change the order of the way the encounters work to kind of ramp it up. But I don't know. Like, it's always going to be very difficult because I think it's a bit of a slippery slope, and if you give an inch, they're going to take a mile when it comes to the those dirty casuals, right? Because no matter how easy you make it, it's always going to be too hard for someone to a certain extent, right? Because the mind boggles at some of this stuff, right? You have people who say stuff like, oh wait, I don't know, like it's even like the easy Queen's Gauntlet bosses are too hard, right?
I was just about to mention it. It was like the most insane thing to watch the comments of some players who argued that they were too hard right after we'd sat there on Tea Time and said that it's laughably easy. Everyone that I knew was just going, this is a joke. Like, what do they do? Well, we've just gotten better at the game. And then obviously there's always going to be someone who hasn't progressed as far as others have, I guess you can call it. And they think they find the bosses to be hard. the bosses of the gauntlet, and I just don't see it. And that's the kind of players that an easy mode will cater to. Go in, see the content, and leave if it's too hard, even.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it is quite rewarding though, and if it was rewarding and fairly easy, you can kind of get people interested in doing well to a certain extent. I think. I don't know. Maybe you need to promote doing well. So like the boss fights. Maybe the faster you kill the boss, the more rewards you get, right? And maybe you can get a rating for the boss.
But are we talking about raid bosses?
Yeah.
Rewards.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I thought it was the gauntlet for a second there.
Yeah, and how do we motivate people to we're talking about how do we motivate people to want to be good at the game, right? To a certain extent. Yeah?
But yeah, you shouldn't. Oh my god. Yeah, I see exactly what you mean. I see exactly what you. How do you motivate people to become good at anything in life? Really, the question is, you don't really. You
it
can't.
comes from themselves, right? Yeah.
It has to be an internal thing. Yeah. You don't. With most things that are difficult, you shouldn't. Well, maybe some people should do it because there's a carrot at the end of the road. Even if it is a tiny carrot, it doesn't matter. It's like there just has to be some kind of motivator. But mostly, you'll find that some of the harder things, you just do them not for the AP, but because you want to beat this challenge. It should be like that. And when it's not,
I think that
if
something isn't done to make raids more appealing to the masses, then
it will fail.
Yes. Then you'll continue to see less resources given to raid development.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If the goal is to get more resources for raids, then you need to find a way, be it easy mode or LFG tool like WoW or something. If you can't make it more appealing to people or more accessible, more accessible is a better word, more accessible to people, then you're not going to get more resources.
This is what I was kind of trying to get at, maybe a little inefficiently, I suppose. I want the game mode that I really, really love in this game, which is raiding, right? Like raiding, like team content, team monster slaying content, right, guys? Okay, I want it to get more attention from ArenaNet. It's becoming, sorry for any ArenaNet devs watching, but it's becoming very apparent that it's not a priority, right? Obviously, okay, it will be a little ridiculous to say otherwise at this point. And at this point, we have to kind of think like, okay, right, what could we maybe suggest that we would accept in order to get some more attention to the game mode and make it as Ing says, more accessible, because that's kind of what at the end of the day, the bottom line is really important. Right, you have to kind of consider from ArenaNet's perspective, like, is this generating engagement in their game, right? You know what I mean? Like, what is that? What they need something to do that, and it raids. I don't know. Like, it's pretty debatable, right? Is it as good as Istan Farm? Probably not. Probably not as engaging overall in the community. And so yeah, you have to be a bit of a pragmatist about it. Like, even though it's not an ideal solution, it might be. You kind of have to actually have a solution. Otherwise, we're done, and then raids are dead, and then the entire raiding scene dies. And that would be sad. But yeah, that's all very, very positive, okay? What do you reckon? Okay, Mike, how do we solve this? Fix it for us, please. Come on. Sort us out. What do we do?
I don't know. They've got to come up with a date and stick with it. You can't make promises, but in the situation that we're in, that's what I would expect, and is that to have a date and have something communicated to people so that we know.
They definitely need to. Sorry to cut Mike off there, but they definitely need to advertise raid releases better. Because
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
In terms of evening the playing field and stuff, like they already have things in the game that can do that for fractals. They have scaling built into world bosses that get harder when more people show up to them. So I would think, and you cannot. You always have to be really careful with saying things like this because I'm not a developer. I don't know what it takes to do it, but there would be mechanisms I would think that they could reuse you know, and to try to make the raid scene more appealing to more people. And yeah, I don't know. You're always going to have people. It might even be too late for some people too. We have good examples of this. Like if you guys ever watched Angry Zork, I think he was here one time. And we were talking about this, and he had a few bad experiences with raids, and it just turned him off of it, and he just doesn't want to do it anymore. And there's probably a lot of people like that, and I think there even now be a lot of people skeptical that they could fix it if it wasn't a thing to. I mean, yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be tough if that's a goal that we think that they need to do. I don't know. And the range of skill between like the elite players, you know, who do the full clears on 5 accounts, like that's insane. I tried it one time on like 3 accounts, and I was like, oh my god, I was so burned out. I'm like, just why? Like, so that's insane. But like, yeah, and there's people that just work on one boss the entire I don't know.
As you say, that's a very good point, actually. I think one of the troubles with raiding and kind of new players getting into raiding, right, is the difference in experience from what I would consider raiding and to what maybe like pug raiding is, right? Honestly, okay, let me think about that. If I was forced to pug raids, okay, would I raid as much as I do? Probably not, actually, because this kind of goes back to what Deroir was saying, right? A big part of it is about playing with friends, right, and having that kind of community experience. And if I didn't have that, would I raid nearly as much as I do? No, probably not, actually. That's an experience that isn't there for the majority of maybe the majority of the player base to a certain extent, right?
There's some communities to help with that, like the training discords and all that, but you got to go in and meet the people, and like it takes a long time to establish friends and trust at that level, and you know, get in your group of people that you're comfortable raiding with. It takes a lot of time.
Can we talk about the upscale for just a second, the scale? Mike, you touched on it just for a second. Like there are mechanics in the game, fractals, world bosses, all that kind of scaling differences. I think it's for the people wanting to get into raids. I very rarely find that they know about that they know about all those mechanics, that they know about the scaling mechanics of this game entirely, or just in general. People don't want to go into fractals to go to raids. People want to go into a raid. So I think it's for a lot of people, at least, I think it could be very helpful to have the scaling be a part of the raid experience. The issue with that is if they want to do that, if that is actually a way of going about it. Say we have one raid, which is basically they're quite easy. The first boss is very easy, and then it gets slightly harder, and then slightly harder, just like the ramp up. The issue with ArenaNet pulling off something like that, like in a raid scaling situation, is that, well, the rest of us are going to fucking hate it. We're all going to bitch about it. We're all going to say it's too easy. Oh my god, 9 months till the next raid, and this is all we have. When in fact, that is probably what we need, what the scene needs if it needs to grow.
I think that's why we have to start thinking a little pragmatically, right? It's like if it will revitalize the raid scene and get more developer time to it, maybe have then you can have these extra challenges. Right? If you have like a base easy mode easy mode, I feel like even like the language is a little loaded here. Like you have to kind of discharge that around. Like just
you can't call it easy mode.
If you reduced the difficulty, right, of the base difficulty of the raid wing, right, okay, made it very, very much very accessible, right. Instead of having it, I don't know, like you kind of have to vaguely know what you're doing, right? If you want to do raids, I say vaguely, and because really vaguely, right? But and then you have on top of that like the challenge, right? Then I think it's kind of fine. Like I think if you ask raiders, okay, if you could double the amount of raid wings that imagine if raids were way easier, but we had double the amount of raid wings. Would you prefer that? Honestly, probably. Actually, I think most people would say yes. I believe, actually, and I think iPro would say yes as well, especially with if there were challenge modes. Provided there were challenge modes, I would definitely say yes. Actually, if it was double the amount of raids, but they all had challenge modes, but the baseline was very easy. Yeah, sure. I think that's probably a good compromise for getting more content into the game. Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
I would. Another part of it might also be you said that people have to vaguely know what they're doing, but honestly, I think people really need to know what they're doing. There's builds and classes out there that I haven't even had time to go in and try out, merely because I don't have time, and there's not a very good mechanism built into the game that helps people learn their rotations, the optimal builds, that kind of thing. There's no sort of what would it be, like a cookie cutter. Oh, I'm on a dragon hunter. These are the recommended builds that you can use, and how you use them. Like, that would be cool. And the other thing they don't really have to people. I was thinking about this earlier, but I was saying in chat, the golem is not very easy to use. Like, it
is annoying, actually. No, I'm with you. It is annoying.
They could just it's like some Zern technology where you have to push all the wrong buttons, and like, it's crazy. Like, they could make that a little easier to use. Those two things.
Presets, is that what you?
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't actually mind that. Yeah.
A button that says "I'm a power class. Give me the power boons, please," or something. Like, I don't know.
Now, this might be a little controversial, but I think I think we talked about this a bit before, that I would be a big advocate for auto gearing people, right? Okay, if you go on the aerodrome, right? There's like a you click on a button, right? If I'm on my Mesmer, right? I'm on my Mesmer. And I want to do some raids, right? But I don't really know. I don't know shit. I don't know anything about raids, right? So you come in here and then, it says, hey, looks like you're playing Mesmer, buddy. What do you want to do? You want to be a support? You want to be a tank? You want to be a power DPS or a Condi DPS? Okay, it says, oh, what do you want to do? And if you click one of these options, it gives you like a temporary set of gear, right? A temporary set of gear. Like it sorts you out with the traits and stuff. Again, like, this is where you get into like really meme territory. Right? Like, okay, it would give you Chronomance. It would give you Mirage if you needed that. It gives you the weapons. It gives you the gear with the runes. Right? It auto gears you. Well, with a timer or anything like that, right? And then suddenly, bam, moderate you're in. Though? And again, here, this is why this system doesn't exist, guys. Okay, if you talk to a PvP player, okay, and you talk about the default builds, okay, in PvP, some of them kind of work out, okay, but some of them are big memes, very big memes, right? And that's kind of an issue. The trouble with Guild Wars 2 is that the game is very complicated and the meta is very much player defined. Like, something that's good now might be not good later on, right? And especially with the balance changes, suddenly you have to update everything when there's a balance change. Suddenly this trait is a piece of trash, all right? Or you need slightly more boon duration in your Mesmer because they nerfed the Chaos trait, right? Or, this changes or that changes. Like, this is really difficult to maintain. And that will be, again, it will be more work for ArenaNet, which is maybe not exactly what they're wanting. But,
yeah.
I don't know. I kind of think feel like it's the way.
Dumbing down the system.
Because
I understand where you're coming from. You want you want to dumb down the system to make it more accessible for more players, but in the end, isn't that part of the game to figure out your class and your build and everything, and then work towards it?
Absolutely, but I think we have to appreciate it isn't for everyone. One of my favorite what I get out of raids is my favorite thing about raids is progression, right? Learning how to do the new raid, the strategies, the composition, stuff like that, and to a certain extent, theory, kind of figuring out, how can you get the maximum out of this build, right? That's fun to me, right? But to a lot of people, no one gives a shit about that, okay? And they don't want to go on snowcrows.com, right? And look at this stuff. Although, again, here's another problem, right? You get your gear, right? But how do I play this build? Like, what's this Signet of Inspiration thing doing here? Like, what's that for? Again, it's like, oh god, it's like problems upon problem. Like, then you have to learn the rotation of how to actually play it, right? Or I don't know. It's very difficult.
I mean,
But I think it has to be simplified.
Can we just?
I wouldn't say dumbing down. I just want to say make as accessible as possible. Because
But we're talking about literally like learning issues and reading issues here. If you can't read your skill to figure out what it says, then it's not a fault of the game. Can we just agree on that for a second?
Yes, no, no. I'm not going to disagree, but we have to be. I think you have to be pragmatic here. There is a complaint from the community. Okay, no matter how unbelievable it is, I personally, right, guys, I'm going to make my stance very clear. I think it is extremely easy to get into raids, right? Extremely easy. If you want to do it, you can do it day one, probably. Well, not day one, but as soon as you hit 80, yes, you could do raids. As soon as you hit 80, 100%. Right? I mean, obviously you can't do Zera because you won't have the masteries, but other than that, you can do raids on day one of being a level 80. However, we have to accept, okay, that there is a complaint from the community that raids are inaccessible, right? And seeing as that's the complaint, we have to address the complaint, right? It's not the game's fault. The game is fine, in my opinion. We're just dinosaurs, man. Okay, we're old men. We just, we play the game slightly differently. But like, people want things to be explained to them a little more, right? They want the game to give them a bit more of a leg up, right? And yeah, so if that's what is needed, okay, then it's needed. Right? Okay, because we can either do that or we can sit here saying, get into raids, guys. It's easy, but that don't work so well.
It's fun.
Seen, right? It's fun. Raids.
I need you for raids.
Yeah. It hasn't really been working so well as it seems, right? Like, if the engagement isn't there, the engagement isn't there. Like it doesn't really matter how we feel. It's kind of what is actually happening, right? It's those, it can't be feels over reels, guys. If you know what I'm saying. Okay, you got to deal with the facts of the matter, and the facts of the matter is that people are scared of raids, man. They're scared. Yeah.
I think that they should. I think one of the things they can do I don't want to say easily, but I think one of the things that they should start doing for raids that they haven't really done ever is they should make a trailer for the raids.
Yes.
Or at least one. Yeah, I think stuff like that really helps a particular release out. And I'm not talking about one screenshot of somebody's left boot or something. I mean, an actual trailer that doesn't necessarily spoil the story, but shows you off environment in the raid, maybe part of the fight or something like that, gets people excited and hyped. What if they're working on a trailer right now? I mean, I hope so.
That'd be great.
I hope so.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think that raids really need that. Releasing a screenshot or two isn't enough to hype people up or get them excited. You need an actual trailer, and you need to point at this and say, "Hey, look at this cool content we made. You should go try it out." Is that going to convince everybody? No, of course not. But it's better than what they currently do as far as advertisement for raids.
Hype is a really big thing about it, right? I could actually see that the raid passing people by. I can certainly see that happening, right? Because there isn't like a massive hype about it, right? And it's a real shame because it is some of the most epic stuff you see, right? Like Doom is he's pretty fucking epic, right? Okay, people like fighting Joker, right? I thought the Joker fight was actually really cool, by the way. Very well done. But Doom, he's on another level. He's 10 meters tall, man. He's a big boy. Right? He's a big man. That'll be great. Really, really exciting stuff, but it's a shame that they don't promote that. And I mean, I don't know. I kind of hate to bring the numbers argument, but if you look at Twitch, right, which is a platform they do value, Guild Wars 2 do value, we know this, right? ArenaNet do value this. And what do you see when you see a raid release, right? Suddenly, everyone's like shit tons of viewers, right? And suddenly people are watching the game again, right, on Twitch. And the same is true, like, again, the raid tournament, right? A very, very popular event. And this was for old content, right? Stuff that already had happened. And people were really interested in seeing good players do raids, right? Okay? And, and die to them as well. So it's kind of like, this is something that there is interest in. It is something that I kind of feel like it's almost like an audience that ArenaNet do kind of want to leverage, but I don't know. it feels like they don't want to cozy up too much to the elitists, because you never know. You might tweet out snowcrows.com and get some backlash on your Twitter, okay? And that's not so good, I suppose, right? But yeah.
I mean, to a certain extent, they also obviously have to watch out for some of the criticism that we have, because we are veterans of the game. We don't necessarily like we can sit here and talk about, yes, this might work and this might work for us hypothetically or whatnot, but I think there's an argument to be made that we're very clouded by our own experience and how we've gotten into the scene. I don't think it's just gonna be easy peasy to get an easy fix, so to speak, to the situation.
Yeah, the videos and the advertisement though would be something pretty simple they could probably do. I would think.
Yeah,
that would help. I've talked to people who are like, "Wait, Guild Wars 2 has raids?"
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So,
Unfortunately, what happens with every game and every MMO is that when people stop playing, their mind is frozen in the time frame they stop playing, and they have no idea that content or raids or whatever has been added to said game. Not just Guild Wars 2, but any game.
And then, well, what an interesting meme.
And the best way to solve that, of course, is advertisement.
Shill the raids. Shill the raids. You know, if we keep saying this enough on TeaTime, eventually they will obey us. We'll kind of...
Yes, that's how it works. It's definitely how it
works. Yes! Yeah, eventually ArenaNet will be subordinate to TeaTime, okay? And everything we say they will do. Okay, look, okay?
Now, wouldn't that be scary, guys?
No, what are you talking about? We'd shape the game in it. We would be responsible with our great power. And look, okay? How many times did I say they should have World vs. World infusions? They added World vs. World infusions.
True.
Nice.
We can come up with good ideas. But if it was completely subjective to us, or subject to us, our decisions, do you not think that we would drive the general player base that actually fund this game, whether we want to admit it or not, and at a larger scale?
Arena would make a lot less money.
Drive them away. Yeah, they would make so much.
They'd make no money, okay, but they just do raids, okay.
If we were catering to the minority, which we definitely fucking would be, do you not think that we would just kill the game?
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think 4,000 gems for the Choya infusion is perfectly fine and legit transaction. That's what they should charge.
Let's talk about long development time. Like if we kill off the game and all the funding for it, we're talking about 24 months easy between raid wings. What up? But they will be fucking ace. Oh my god. Double thumbs up right there. Hey.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it is always good to remember where you're coming from, remember what perspective you have, right, and the way way we all see the game and stuff like that. So it's a little bit funny, right? Wow, that was a bit of a tangent, wasn't it? But anyway, story, guys. Story in the raids, like the future of raids. It's really good stuff. Some guys say, I think I was going to bring this up a while ago before we went off on that. But you know what's really good, guys? Okay, I'll tell you what's really good. Okay, Forged. Okay, Balthazar's realm. Boom. Okay, that can happen too. But wow. What a meme. I have an immensely casual friend who barely plays last night, and we got him his build set, showed him his DPS rotation, and did Wing 3 easy as fuck. Raids are completely accessible for anyone. Yeah, I agree. But either there's a problem with the community perception, or there's something wrong going really funky, right? So you have to try and address that, right? It's not... Thing is, it's kind of irrelevant, guys. It's almost not even relevant whether it's the case or not. It's whether people think it's the case or not, and people's attitude towards it. The actual truth of the matter is barely relevant. But anyway, right. Moving on. I think that'll do for raids, guys. Okay, let's do something else. Okay, so we've done the open world story. Okay, we agree it's probably gonna be pretty cool. It's probably gonna we're gonna end up, guys, brutally murdering our beautiful dragon child that we've fostered. Okay, we've taken in.
It's happening.
Okay, we're taking her down. Okay,
I can slit her throat.
Yeah,
easy magic. Just suck it out. What?
Suction.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. Okay. Song requests on. Let's go. Okay. Song requests enabled, guys. Let's get some Gacha Muchi playing. You like Gachi? By the way, Mike, do you get some Gacha requests on there?
You know, that's the weirdest stuff.
Yeah.
Gacha. I don't even get it.
Yeah.
I still don't get it. I'm not used to it. There's a lot of stuff on Twitch.
Yeah, you share a name with Mike2272. Okay, the Gachi aficionado. Okay, this man loves Gachi. He is Gachi. All right, but anyway, moving on, guys, to fractals. Okay, now Deroir is the fractal goddess.
I do not have insight into the realms of the mist there.
Yeah,
I mean, anything can fucking pop up in that regard, really.
Yeah.
Can they, like? I don't think anyone expected the Deep Stone, like the Deep Stone story, to come out of.
Yeah, it's very much random.
It was fun.
And
I mean, I liked it. I don't know.
I mean, okay. If we are to openly speculate, then actually thinking of the Path of Fire story threads, I think actually in some sense there might be a bigger chance for the Balthasar and the Forge story to happen in the Fractals than there is in a raid.
Yeah, it will be a good place for it.
Bigger, place for it.
Because the time travel aspect can kind of really help you out there, or you know the kind of time travel, like the pseudo time travel.
Yeah.
So you can see past events. That's very, very useful for to express that kind of story, right? Like see what happened there.
Yeah.
See like I don't know how Balthazar kind of started his evil plan, right? To get going. So that will be a really good thing to do.
I think just overall, if we are to think of different stories for the Fractals, we should just look at the environments and the stories that we have throughout the environments of the Path of Fire story. I think that's the biggest tell, basically, because like we know that they want to tell those stories. We know that they want to tell the stories of the desert. And the environments in the Path of Fire story. And if we are to assume, like we did earlier, that the raids are completely separate, like going to be something completely separate, then yeah, it's very likely that even with the core mirror library,
the library would be amazing. Or like anything on the Forgotten. I would love like a Forgotten one.
Yeah.
I guess the good news and or bad news, depending on how you look at it, at least we know the cadence for fractals.
Yes.
Every 2 living stories, so every 4 to 6 months you get one.
It's perfect.
Too slow for me, but it is what it is, I guess. At least we know that that's the way that they're going to do it, and we probably will get CMs again at some point. But I think we're probably going to see several fractals before that happens.
I'm not even sure if we see a return to CMs. Honestly, I don't think. It makes me sad to say it, but I'm not sure if we're ever going to really see CMs. I've kind of lost hope to a certain extent. But also the way the developers talk about it, like it's not something we're looking to do right now.
Right.
That language. Because bear in mind, guys, ArenaNet will often say something like, "Yes, we're gonna do this," right? And then it doesn't happen. Like when you have a developer saying like, I'm really not feeling CMs, man," like that sort of thing. Okay, I see where that's going, and you know what? That's fine. Not everything has to be hard. But the one thing that upsets me with how the cadence is that it doesn't allow them to do anything like the Nightmare, Chaos, and Shadow Observatory, where you tell a story over multiple fractals, right? Because I think that was really cool. And having that kind of running theme going through these fractals, I think was really, really awesome, actually. And if they're going to be releasing fractals basically once every 4 months maximum, right? That really limits the way they can tie these things together. If that makes any sense. And I don't know, having stuff like that, kind of a running story, like through the raids and the fractals, I think is really, I think it's a shame. I do think it's a shame, and I feel like the instance content, the instance group content, is kind of being limited by the release cadence of the game to a certain extent, and it's pretty sad in that respect. And you know, I did enjoy Deep Stone. I think it's awesome. You know, I love me some Lord of the Rings. I was certainly getting a bit of a bit of a Moria vibe from Deep Sense. So I appreciate that. And again, the mechanics are really cool, especially the last boss. I think the last boss is actually a great boss. It would have been perfect for a CM, you know, but hey. You can't have everything. But I don't know. In terms of the story, yeah, I think Cormier's Library, I didn't really actually consider that until Inks was saying that. I think it will be an awesome environment for a Fractal. You've got that multi-dimensional aspect as well. You have that very much an epic setting, right? And the architecture is awesome as well. Right? I don't know, when it comes to the Cormier's Library, though, what could the story be there, though? Because it's something happening almost in the present, right? Like right now, it's now kind of imploding in on itself.
We can see the story of it actually becoming as it is. We can see the future, but I'm thinking more in the past, in the sense of the past. Yeah, when it was actually taken over, when the creatures started coming in, seeing all of that unfold with the protecting the spirits, or maybe even playing as the spirits. Who knows?
We could work with Cormier to take the library when she first became a goddess or whatever.
Yeah, or that.
Yeah, the establishment. Yeah, that's
I don't know if they even really need to be Path of Fire based. I mean, the new Fractal that came out, to me, it really brought back. I keep saying this, but it brought me back to Guild Wars 1 again. And the dungeons that they had. Is it in Eye of the North? I don't remember, but they had dungeons that had these little, and it's exactly like the Deep Stone is now, where you have a special skill that you use, and you see this little blue sparkly thing on the floor, and you go up to it and you ping.
Yeah, the Light of Deloraine was a big throwback.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, it totally reminded me of Guild Wars 1. So honestly, what I think would be cool is more moments like that are like nostalgic, and it doesn't necessarily, to me, need to be like a something that's tied to Path of Fire. I mean, that's kind of more like the now, and I view Fractals as more something that takes you back, way back in history, and explains or showcases some event that has happened.
Yeah, that's kind of a way they can do that, right? And that's what was going on with potentially with the Fractal they were going to do on Abaddon, right? And the Thormanova reactor, stuff like that. Like you go back and you see Parsons, or the Ascalon one, the Urban Battleground one, all this stuff, right? It's all it's expanding on things that can't really be done in the game because the time doesn't really make any sense anymore, right? And it's again a way they could to kind of go down that road, Mike. You could do stuff like Old Living Story, right? You could potentially bring back stuff like the Battle on the Breachmaker, right? Great song, right?
I mean,
Bondage on the Breachmaker.
But they do want to tell new stories. Like that was the whole shtick that Mike said. Like throughout all the Gamescom thing and whatnot, they want to tell the new stories. They with the Fractals, that is, the stories of the desert. So I feel like, I mean, even the Abaddon story, speaking of, could even be told in that sense. Could even be told through the lens of the Path of Fire story, because it is that exact area, the fall of Abaddon. I mean,
that's true.
Yeah, I think they are. I think they are just gonna the Fractal and Raid team. I don't know, obviously, but I wouldn't expect them to be a big team, so to speak, with like art assets hanging out their ass.
No, they borrow.
Yeah, exactly. They take from what they have.
Some of it I think is probably developed and new for it, but they do borrow where they can borrow, right?
Sure.
Make that
and
work
that the entire Deepstone Fractal was, well, the Desert Highlands area in the west area. It was all the same assets, basically just reused. Yeah.
That skin anyway, the dwarven.
Yeah, the dwarven textures, the
textures, yeah.
All that jazz.
So we also know too that
it's gonna be rehashed stuff.
We do know that the next story is likely the Raid release from comments that were made. The story after that is Fractals again, so two patches from now. And with that next one, they had said in the AMA too that they would be updating some things from like some of the older Fractals as well. So we could see a refresh with the next patch as well for Fractals.
A refresh? What do you mean?
Well, like, do you know how they go through and they do let's say they did a refresh to Cliffside?
Oh, you mean yes? Okay. Yes. Okay, I get it.
So like we're gonna supposedly we're getting a new Fractal 2 episodes from now, but we're also likely to see refreshes of some kind, or a refresh of some kind as well. So the next Fractal, while Deepstone might not have been enough for some people, no CM unfortunately. The next one, while I don't expect there to be a CM like Teapot said, there's probably going to be a refresh as well. Maybe even some instability changes and so forth, which would be nice.
I just want those instability changes. I want some more instabilities, yo.
Sooner rather than later would be nice for the instabilities.
Make instabilities like gambits. You can just enable all of them.
But they need to reward you for that.
More relics.
Yeah.
Exactly, more relics.
Dude, imagine 100 CM with every instability. Feels good, man.
With the gun.
That would be fun, right?
Yeah.
It would be quite a...
Fun is subjective, I suppose, but it would be interesting.
Endeavor, yeah. I mean, I'd do it. I'd do it every day. Easy. Yes.
Yeah. If it was more relics is more relics.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get in there. Yeah. Of course, some fractals just really do need a bit of a fresh look of paint, don't they? I mean, it certainly is happening. I mean, they kind of did the underwater one by proxy, right? Now you've got fresh underwater combat. You're good to go. Yeah. Now we're all good. Stuff like I think. What do you think? What's the biggest offender for fractals? Is it Molten Furnace?
I think,
or is it Solid Ocean?
No, I think the next one in the works. I know Ben was talking about that some time ago. Is Solid Ocean.
Yeah,
they're basically pitching it, or they were working on a pitch sometime. It's not too long ago for Solid, as far as I understand, at least. So
that'd be a good one.
I'm pretty sure Solid Ocean is the one. Even though I actually kind of like Solid Ocean. It's like the Slack daily.
Yeah.
It's like when you're doing the CMs and all that every day. It's like
I had to rethink. Yeah, no, I like Solid Ocean. It's nice and easy. You just run to the boss. You don't skip everything.
It's the Slack daily. It's just like today is just Slack.
Unfortunately, like my fear is when they update it, they'll do what they did to the Molten.
And just make it longer, and you have to fight all of those.
I was just about to say, right? Yeah, it's kind of like, well, do we really hate these fractals? Okay, and they're kind of crappy, right? But also, they're insanely easy, and they're just free farm. Like Molten Boss, right, was great because it was like, oh yes. It's Molten Boss. This fractal takes like 5 minutes. It's like 3 minutes, man. Oh, yeah. I get my free loot and let's go. So, there is that. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it, guys. And do I think that Molten Boss is a better designed fractal now? Absolutely. Of course it is, right? But, on the other hand, it's now more annoying. It's the same with Twilight Oasis, right? Twilight Oasis, people said, you know what? These fractals... It's for little kids, okay? It's for babies, okay? Babies with no arms. They made Twilight Oasis. Everyone hates Twilight Oasis because it's actually annoying, right? It's actually annoying to go through and the NPCs actually do something, and the last boss is actually a boss.
I like the last boss. Yeah, I like the last boss.
That's great.
Okay.
I could do without the running around and parkouring off the rooftops, but I like the last boss.
Yeah, the last boss is really good. I enjoyed the last boss a lot. I don't know. I would like a new fractal, but I don't know. I can't really say much because I'm not really doing fractals that much right now. Honestly, I don't know. I hate to blame it on this. I really do. Like, this is at the end of the day, it's a motivation problem for me. But the lack of CM with Deepstone really kind of it killed my motivation to do them. Personally, for me, I realize that's not maybe not the case for a lot of people, but I can't be bothered right now. I need to get back into it because I haven't got that sweet fractal god, guys. I still need about another 30k relics.
Slack boy.
Yeah, I'm a slacker, man. I'm a slacker. I need to start doing fractals with Rex. Okay, new sub goal, guys. I will do Rex every day. No. Wait, no, that's not happening. Okay, never. We're never doing Rex. Okay, this is unfair. Okay, right. You guys are streamers. I want opinions on this. Okay, my chat always tries to force me to do things I don't want to do. Does this happen with you guys?
Oh, were you not there on Friday?
Oh, okay. Deroir, you're trying to claim that you didn't want to do that. Okay, honestly, the quality there was suspicious. I think you liked it. Okay, all right. I reckon, dude. Honestly, who's the persona? I think Deroir's the persona. As soon as that camera's off, wig's back on. If you guys know what I'm saying.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Makeup's all the way.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't think you realize. I don't think you really appreciate, Deroir, how much YouTube gold you're sitting on with that, and Twitch gold you're sitting on with that outfit, that get up. You can make a whole. You can make a whole series of YouTube videos. Be amazing. Yeah.
Makeup tutorials.
All the
all kinds of stuff.
All future makeup tutorials.
Deroir goes to Gamescom. I mean, there's so much. There's so much you can do.
Now that's something, wouldn't it?
You could interview the devs. You know, everything.
Yes, I mean,
sit down with Mike C, have a conversation.
Great ideas, Zings. Great ideas. I will definitely write them down on my imaginary notepad and totally not forget about it. Yes. It's happening. It's happening. But yeah, it would be fun.
It'd be great. It'd be great. I don't know. Yeah. So fractals, I don't know.
Recs are fun.
Recs are not fun.
I don't mind them. They're easy.
Recs
are like a steamroll. It's like, you call them tier 4 is easy, but like,
Recs are just I can't even handle it. Am I alone in this? Am I the only one who can't handle Recs?
I mean, I need a lot of fractal relics and stuff, so that's why I do them. But
I honestly think the fractal god title is just so far out of reach that I am not going to be motivated to ever even try to like farm my fractal relics. Like, it was almost like, oh my gosh, how much does it take to get there? I was like,
if you do them every day, it's really not that bad.
It's easy.
Yeah.
I almost have another fractal god just from doing it casually.
Wait, are you kidding me? How many relics do you have right now?
Like 45,000, something like that.
Oh my god.
That's, I don't even.
42. Yeah, easy.
Yeah. I'm with Mike. I can't imagine. Jeez. But on the other hand, I also pug fractals every day, so
rough life.
It's a little bit different, tiny bit. Bit.
It is.
Yeah, that's different. living the pug life there. It's tough. But you know what? I used to do that. There was a time I used to pug fractals basically every day. I am glad that is not the time anymore.
I mean, that's a good 3 hours worth of streaming content. So you know,
easy.
I've seen things, guys. I've seen things. Right?
Yeah, it's sadly true. Yeah. I joined a Discord the other day. People were in fractals. And Mike, we've been here for 3 hours. Help us. It was the same fractal. And I was like,
yeah.
That is frightening.
But you know what? I like doing fractals. I like the 5-man instance content. I wish there was more of that type of stuff. I don't have the same kind of group that like Teapot has. So for me, finding 5 pugs, I'm just not willing to put myself through pug rating, but finding 5 pugs for fractal level stuff is much easier for me to bear, let's say.
So you've got 4 friends, but you can't find 5 more?
That's right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't even have 4 friends. I just pug everything.
You get some public friends, right? Everything is great. That's in right. 5-man content, didn't you?
Everything is great in the fractal 5-man content. That's right.
Yeah.
Everything. No exceptions.
No exceptions. Yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of does it for fractals. We know when it's coming. It's very difficult to predict what's going to happen. But the sad thing is, it's unlikely that there will be a challenge mode. But hey, beggars can't be choosers, as they say. To kind of go back a little bit, actually, and to kind of talk about efficiency with regards to how things can go. Do you think it's necessary that we always have a new map with Living Story, or do you think they could, do you think it would be better if they reused old maps, right? So maybe you have to go back to some of the other Path of Fire maps, and that's where the story takes place. Or do you think, because of the way the Living Story is, do you need that new territory to kind of explore
if we
push the story forwards?
I thoroughly believe that if we don't get a new map, the depth of the content that we actually get other than the story in those new other than the stuff to do in the new maps is entirely like just shallow. It's non-existent. The story is over in 3 hours. The rest of the content is through grinding the map and the achievements there. If we do not have that map, I mean, you think it's dead now? Yeah.
I don't know. The maps, though, that's the thing where like they're really active for the first week, maybe the second week. By the third week, they veer off in population.
Yeah.
Anybody's there, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh, now it's there. It just makes the map bigger, and it's not part of map completion, so it kind of makes it confusing.
But we should make
in a
it
way.
that. That's kind of the thing.
Maybe they should, but it's not.
I think the issue is that they refuse to do stuff like that. They refuse to incorporate it and make it a part of a bigger whole. They make it so singular. It just it stands on its own. It's
Unfortunately,
and if it's bad for that, like it dies.
I feel like part of me is always really excited to see the map grow and grow, and more areas are unveiled. So part of me really likes seeing them put little maps all over the place, just because it expands the world. On the other hand, I think the better focus for them should be is to take a Silver Wastes approach to maps, where maybe either connect maps together better, or continue to add and develop onto the same map over a couple of episodes or something, to make it, instead of the slivers we have now, but a much larger environment as a whole. That'll mean us seeing less of the total map, but I think it'll make for a better map in total.
I would take your idea, because I actually think that it's a very interesting idea. I would take your idea and just expand it. Let's make double the size of maps, basically. So you just expand with like the same size of the initial map for the next release. So that that would be amazing.
You kind of feed the maps in slowly over the course of time.
Yeah.
I think, well, we've had this idea before, and it's been discussed among the community, and I do think it is a good idea. The one counterpoint I would have, though, is if you do that, doesn't it kind of lock the story to one location, right? To a certain extent. So if they want to continue the story, well, the way it goes is like, aha, we got to go here, we got to go there, right? But if the map is slowly revealed, it almost contains the story in one place, and it makes it kind of difficult to expand on the actual plot and kind of drive the plot forwards. It kind of inherently limits the pacing, right, to a certain extent, if you're locked on the same map, right? For multiple episodes, right? It's going to take a little while to actually get anywhere in terms of the actual geography, right? And that might be a bit of a problem.
But is that the necessary? Is that what we need? Do we need to geographically continue further and further away?
In some ways, like let's go back to Istan, for example. In some ways, they could have just expanded out from Istan rather than jumping to 3 different maps. It doesn't necessarily make sense for Joko, unfortunately, at the very end of episode 3, but they could probably do like one giant map for 3 episodes that they build upon, rather than hopping all around like Teapot is saying, which is what we currently do.
Yeah.
So yes, you are locked. You are locked into one region, but they would have to craft the story around 3 parts in one region or something like that. Because let's face it, in episode 2, what the hell happened in episode 2? We met the...
Wait, did he die?
Oh.
To add to Timey's team. That was the episode. Right?
Well, we didn't hear anything you said. Cut out for a second.
Cut out for a second, my internet. In episode 2, we met the Omicron, which was cool enough, right? But then we saved Blish and Gorik. That was it. That was the episode. It was a bit of
that
could have happened in Istan. Like, it didn't have to be in, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. You are right there, and I think someone in the chat says something pretty interesting. Like you could kind of have, say, I don't know, 2 episodes per map, right? Or you could even go the direction of having different biomes. If we recall Dry Top, right? Like one of the episodes takes place. You have the desert one, right? Then you have this one in a slightly different biome, that underground place with the ley line, right? Which is very different, right? That underground map is very different. Although it is much smaller, right? A much smaller environment compared to what we see now. These maps are pretty damn huge, right? But still, there is some way you can go. Yeah, by changing the biomes. Yeah, guys, imagine if you had multiple biomes on each map, okay? Heart of Thorns, biomes, okay? I realize it's a bit of a funny word for people here, but still. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what approaches might be taken, but I don't know. Anything that would increase it will kind of decrease the workload would be really good, I think, because it does seem that the maps are very difficult, and I can certainly understand why. I think about all the modeling and like arranging the terrains and sorting all the events out and stuff like that. This is time-consuming stuff, guys. Right? Although I don't know, maybe the story is the hard stuff. Who even knows?
But at the same time, maybe sure that is the hard part, but can we also not agree that that is also the largest teams?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Quite a bit of resources. Quite a bit of resources in the 3 different teams there.
The resources are just going to get relocated to something else.
To the gem store. Is that what you're trying to say here, Deroir?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, they don't necessarily have to have less teams if they're just going to expand the maps. It's just the way that they would work on it or whatever. And again, all this stuff would be nice. I really don't think ArenaNet's going to change the pace of the way they do things, unfortunately. I have to say one of my biggest disappointments was just how cardboard the city in the last map was that we got. I really thought that was going to be fleshed out a bit more on the overall map, but...
Yeah. I think the reason I'm kind of even poking this or complaining about it a little bit, I suppose, is because of... the last map was a bit rubbish, wasn't it, really? I mean, well, it is a bit rubbish. So it's... and do we really need that map?
It feels like a Bitterfrost in some ways, minus the berries.
Minus the good berries, yeah.
Yeah, minus the good farming berries.
They did change the shard acquisition, though. I can really appreciate that.
Yeah.
For one.
Yeah. It's kind of fun to get
completely useless. What's it called? The completely useless chests actually useful. So there's that.
What did they change?
They made shards accessible from them. You now get a guaranteed inscribed shard.
Yeah.
Every time you open one of those completely useless corn chests.
I thought you always did.
They used to be. No. You couldn't get it. It wasn't even on the loot table for it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you complete garbage. The alternative to the new map thing is if they reuse an existing map. They've done this before, and with when they demolished Lion's Arch, and it completely changed that map, and that's probably a bit of a risk. I mean, there was a lot of stuff there, and if I were Aina, I don't think that reusing a map would be any cheaper, I guess, than making a new one. And it seems like they're on a pretty good vibe too, with just creating a new map every time.
Yeah, that seems to be the way it's going.
And it's like,
yeah.
And
again, that is a good point. Of course, I mean, there's going to be a lot of work. I mean, if you consider what actually they did to Lion's Arch, that's basically like making a new map. There's a lot of stuff that's changed that they can. When it was the battle for Lion's Arch going on, right, whatever it was called, the entire landscape was changed. There was stuff burning all over the place. Yeah, that's probably a similar amount of work almost, right? So very, again, not so easy. But I don't know. I would imagine that the next map will be a lot better. It'll be a lot better. I'm pretty confident about it. But even that, I mean, I guess I'm not exactly the target market, but I don't find myself sticking to these maps very much.
Yeah, me too.
I did the Heart of Thorns ones because I wanted the experience, so I could instantly unlock the masteries, like whenever that would come out. But you don't even need to do the maps for that. Well, you can, right? But I don't know. Again, this is a problem with me. I can't be fucked, honestly, boys. Okay, I'm just gonna admit it. I can't be bothered. Can't be bothered to do the maps, guys. Right?
I've definitely lost interest in season 3.
Lost entirely, or just
Just I don't
map.
really go out of my way to do a lot of the achievements unless I get them while I'm doing it. I really don't return to the maps unless I need the currency for some reason. Like Mike was saying, I play it for like maybe 2 weeks, and then I'm kind of like, okay, well, we got 3 months. I guess I'll wait for the next map.
Yeah.
The meta events that happen, at least for me, the meta events that happen just aren't really that interesting. So I do the meta event 3 or 4 times, maybe, and then I don't know. I go back to fractals and raiding once a week.
But the problem is, I can't really say what the problem is. I feel like it's a multifaceted issue, really, of like engagement with any of the maps. There's obviously no long-term rewards. There's no actual challenge to it. There's no is there anything in any of those maps?
It's tough. It's tough. I think if the meta was really enjoyable, or if there was like a world boss or something there, then I would return maybe on a more regular basis. But without that kind of hook, there's really no reason for me to go back to those maps. Like, I'll give you a good example. Lake Doric was one of my favorite maps when it was released, just because I liked the events that were happening. I sort of liked that story and everything that was going on. But the truth is, after doing that for like 2 weeks, I never go back to Lake Doric. There's no point for me to ever go there, really.
Well, yeah. Again, I don't want to be too negative on this. I don't want to think like, oh yeah, the maps fucking suck. I think the maps are actually pretty good. Like, not this one, but all the ones are actually pretty good. They are fun to play through. It's more of the, I think, that the kind of players we are kind of mitigates or limits the usefulness we find in them. I mean, everything that you might get from these maps, we could just get elsewhere, if that makes any sense. And we already have it, right? If we wanted to go get gold, right? Like a player
or
might
another sended back piece.
Another sended back. A player might do Istan, for example, right? Or the new map where you can get the back pieces, right? The thing is, there is no reason for me to do that because I can just buy it with raid shards, or I can just. I mean, I just raid for gold. I have a lot of gold. I'm at the point where I'm rich, I'm rich, yeah. Well, no, it's just as a player. This is actually something that Nike talked about a long time ago in a lot of his in one of his videos. Actually, it's just as you go on playing through Guild Wars 2, the game is so convenient that it gives you a lot of methods for acquiring things that they stack up. Right, so you have a lot of alternative currencies, right? You can buy stuff for a currency instead of for gold, right? A lot of the stuff is very interchangeable, right? You don't have to go here to get this, right? If you want a back piece, you don't have to go exactly here. There's multiple ways to acquire basically everything, right? But the multiple ways to acquire everything, they just stack up, right? They're cumulative. You're up to your eyeballs in ways you can get stuff, right? And this is, I'm not complaining, I'm just saying that this is why we're kind of saying this to a certain extent, is because we're just too wealthy, guys. We're too wealthy. Yeah, we're just piling up. It's all piling up. And the sinks don't come fast enough for our godlike wealth, guys. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say here. Okay, we have too much, right? I don't know. Maybe me and Deroir, at least. Okay, I don't know. What do you reckon? You're a rich man, Mike. Okay, you got everything in the game.
I'm on the streets, bud.
No, he's on the streets.
I'll pretend,
Shit.
but
pretend. Yes, we can all be rich. Everyone's rich.
So
We're rich.
That's kind of interesting. So as a bit of a less no-lifer than me, Deroir, and probably Inks as well. Do you find yourself coming back to the maps? Like, do you? To get stuff, to get that cash, that sort of thing, or is it because you're obviously a big raider as well, like you raid all the time, so there is kind of limited usefulness as well for you perhaps with kind of this open world stuff.
It's I'll go back for a back piece or something, and go to the Winterberry farm or whatever. But other than that, no, not really. The new maps are really fun when they first come out, right? It's a new area to explore. That's cool, but I don't see myself going back to them frequently ever. And if there's a jumping puzzle too, that's kind of cool. But
Ooh.
even
I feel like to a certain degree we're kind of getting to the same point as the last time I was on as well, where we talked about the need for new rewards.
Yeah. Big sinks as well, like really, really like draining people, draining the coffers of the 1%.
I think providing a more, it's so subjective, right? But providing a more interesting meta, I think, is so important to these maps, and I don't think a lot of them really have super interesting or fun meta.
But like, interesting metas are one thing. If we don't want the rewards from it, people will not do it. Look at Serpent's Ire.
That's
it's actually a really
You're
unique.
not wrong.
It's a very unique event or chain of events. The Serpent's Ire. Nobody does them because you literally get the same value out of it from doing a Dolyak escort in Amnoon. It's like people.
Well, and that's why I said, and we said this probably 2 or 3 tea times ago about the Stellar set, the Stellar and Astral set, or whatever they're called. Somebody in chat will correct me. I really think that they should have spread that weapon set amongst like a couple of maps or something. And again, if they take one map area, one large map like a Silver Waste, you can have, like they had the armor sets, right? You can have a weapon set that you continually work on or get as rewards for doing the giant meta events.
I think the issue that we have with that is that ArenaNet wants to have every single map be self-contained. That's one of the biggest mistakes, I believe.
Well, right, and that's what that's what we're kind of, or that's what I'm kind of saying is I think that's kind of a mistake.
Yeah, it's a huge mistake. And I obviously understand why they're doing it. They don't want to alienate people coming back.
Yeah.
And then buying those episodes. They don't want to people to feel like they only got half of what they bought when they buy an episode. So I understand where the logic is coming from, but fuck if it just feels shallow, because it doesn't feel like the maps aren't connected in any ways except for the story, and just by because of that, they just feel meh, too secularized, so too individual, without actually being individual, because they all basically resemble each other with the same rewards and the same loot tables, the same whatnot.
Yeah, that's true.
Sack pointed out as well. What if we changed it up a little bit and we took the legendary trinket or amulet or whatever thing and didn't put it at the very end like we did with Aurora, but put it at the start?
Right.
I personally wouldn't be against it, because it would give me more incentive to obviously do that when the episode was out. But the intent seemingly with Aurora was to relight that spark, to bring people back into the fold of those maps, so that it basically felt like new content, even though we were using the old maps. And it makes sense. I can get behind that, but
it was developed specifically that way to draw time out between that and the expansion.
Yeah. There is, of course, the having that accessibility is kind of good, as you say, but it's very much a double-edged sword. Like a lot of the design choices involved in the Living Story and Guild Wars 2 as a whole are very much, they cut both ways, right? As you're saying, like, well, it removes a sense of identity from the maps, as you were saying, Deroir. But then, on the other hand, it does make it very accessible, right? And if you come back to the game, it's like, whee, off you go, right? And you can just get stuck into everything immediately. But on the other hand, that kind of makes it so whichever one's the most efficient wins, guys, right? When it comes to the maps, right? So it's kind of like you always have to one-up yourself, right? So like that's why stuff like Istan is so popular, right? But I don't know, it's pretty interesting. It's tough decisions, and I don't think any one way is exactly correct. Like it's kind of come down to preferences as well. I mean, I don't know. I will still say that it is kind of a first world problem. Like we have so much big value, of like mega value, that because we play a lot of different game modes, it makes a lot of things easier. And for example, if I want to get Ascended Trinkets, right, I don't even have to like play these game modes, I can just like crank a few reward tracks out, right? And I've done so many world versus world days, I can just grind instantly, get reward tracks, and suddenly boom, I've got like a shit ton of map currency. I don't even have to play the maps. The game plays the maps for me. I can play world versus world or PvP, right? And then the maps will play themselves, right? Yeah. Whoa, amazing! It's good shit, right? I don't know. Oh yeah, the same is true for dungeons as well, right? If I want to do dungeons, I can just like click my world versus world reward track potions. I can finish
I'm so happy that Fractals still have not gotten hit by that.
Yeah, you ready for the oh, that'll be so good. Yes.
They're going to literally kill off Fractals.
Oh yeah.
If they do that.
That'll be good. Fractal relic reward track. Now that would be nice. Can finally get my fractal gone. Easy peasy.
Nope. No, not happening. Shouldn't happen ever. Please. It's how the dungeons died. Don't make it happen. No.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing, right? Convenience, making things cross-accessible from other game modes. It makes it so that if you play every game mode, you end up with a massive amount of stuff, right? I made a bunch of legendaries recently. I didn't have to craft a single Mystic Clover, right? Because I've just done so many reward tracks that I just have them all, right? It's like, that's beautiful. And you just have all this stuff just piling up as a result of that, and that's a good thing, by the way. If you're saying like why are you shitting on Guild Wars 2, Teapot? It's like, no, it's not the case. Like the game makes it actually it doesn't fuck you. The game does not punish me for playing multiple game modes. In fact, it rewards you very well. I'd say it's borderline the only sane way to play Guild Wars 2 is to play every game mode. Otherwise, you're going to burn out eventually.
Yeah, you're getting hardcore.
And then you quit, and then you tell your friends that Guild Wars 2 is a dead game.
And then you make a YouTube video
saying that you quit the game.
And then you rebrand. You're no longer MMO Inks.
Okay. It's
something
getting real
else.
now.
Yeah.
You're getting RPG inks. Oh wait, FPS inks.
You become Mighty Coffee Pot, just trying to live off of somebody else's fame.
Mighty Coffee Pot, huh?
Mighty Coffee Pot.
You rebrand yourself.
Unbelievable.
With a coffee pot and a Canadian flag.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to change the nationality as well, huh? I see what's going on here. But, yeah. Wow, I guess that's...
Wow.
Coffee time, that's right. You start your own...
Coffee time, new podcast.
You start your own podcast called Coffee Time. That's right.
Yeah. Have we got anything else to say regarding the future of the game? I think that's... Basically, the one thing else we could say is like festivals.
The future is bright.
The future is pretty bright-ish, kinda. I mean, I honestly don't even want to talk about alliances because it's just going to make me sad.
It's not.
Okay,
Yeah.
And honestly, 2v2 PvP tournaments, that's just going to make me sad as well. I mean,
I think we've talked about a lot of positive things today.
Yeah. Wait, what are you saying? This has been a PMA tea time, all right? Okay, well, listen, I knew it was going to get salty, obviously. It's got me and Inks on it, okay? So that's why we brought on Deroir. Like, look, here, this side here of the podcast, guys, you see this? This is the dark side, okay? This is the dark side. But if you go over there, okay?
We are the light side.
Those are the happy people, okay? Right, that's the PMA
Mike
side.
Right
So we're balancing it out.
PMA.
Okay? We're balancing it out.
Can we get like a text in between us saying the PMA side?
The PMA, yeah. The PMA side, and then we're over here we got the dark side, okay? But I think that's kind of all we have to say right now. The only thing would be festivals, right? And we have seen some interesting festivals, and I don't know. Do you guys think they're going to go for stuff like bringing back more old stuff, right? So, or do they want to go on to kind of
No,
you don't think they're going to do that?
This is what we have now. Yeah, they're done. They're moving on to something else, definitely. Winter's Day is going to look exactly like it looked last year.
Oh, yeah. No, what I was meaning is, do you think they're going to reintroduce old festivals, right? I believe I did briefly reference this in a previous thing. So stuff like old living story stuff.
Twin Tower thing.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Let's kill the Watch Night.
Why not?
Again,
yeah. This was the exact conversation we had, right? I mean, Deroir. No, I'm not. No,
no, that's not. It's not. I'm not.
No.
The anniversary is soon, guys. The anniversary is soon.
Oh yeah.
Get your gems ready.
Oh wait,
Get
what
your
was it?
gems ready.
Wait, like, how can we not
6
talk about
years.
this, dude? The anniversary. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Blackline sale,
I won't even be
easy.
around for that.
Get ready
Won't be
for the
around
sales,
all.
boys. Get ready. Get that wallet out. Okay, get ready to fund X Pack 3, ladies and gentlemen. Let's
Yes.
go. Okay.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'll miss it by like. Well, I guess no, I'll be around, but like, my vacation ends the 26th, so I'll be like, it'll start when I'm away.
As long as the Black Lion keys are after the 26th, you're good. Easy. We can continue the
Black Lion
Ace Opens
key.
Black Lion chest video series. Boom, it's happening. Let's go.
Feels good, man. But yeah, I mean, it should be exciting. I do like. Arena have actually done a really good job with the birthday gifts, in my opinion. They've done some good work.
Yeah,
they're pretty cool, and that's I like that. I do like that indeed.
Getting an extra weapon or two.
Extra weapon, some more gifts and stuff, some more, maybe some dies, some unique stuff like that. I don't know. It's all going to be relatively nice. The sales, of course, are going to be pretty cool as well. Like, hey, might as well, pick up some Black Lion keys. A level 60 scroll, yeah, exactly. They got to keep those scrolls going, right? Eventually they'll get to 80 and just give you an 80 boost every year. But,
can't wait.
Yeah. I mean, that's that's not the best part, all right, guys. It's not the best one, but
Well, you're gonna get another. You'll get your choice of another back piece, the racial back pieces, Norn or Sura, whatever. You're gonna get 1 to 2 luminous weapons, which was pretty cool. Do you think they're gonna add something new this year?
Every Hellfire Infusion. No, it's not happening.
What? Hey,
every
why
year they add
not?
something new, right?
Why not an infusion for
would
being
be really
around for
cool.
so long?
Everybody loves
Fucking
infusions.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay,
They could just put infusions on everything.
if it's a subtle one, I don't mind. If it's a crazy fucking one, no. So many people are gonna be running around
a
with
chair. Maybe a chair.
that. Don't. Yeah. Okay. Give us a chair. Give us a mini bench. Yes. Easy.
Yeah.
Just a regular little stool to pull out. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, 50 slot bag. Oh yeah, they could give us a 32 slot bag. Yeah, I actually get that shit. Or some kind of enrichment. Again, that would be kind of cool. Yeah, that's Benji's bringing the good ideas. Dude. I love that shit. We already had is it the Royal Guard outfit or something, right? That was.
Yeah, that was for one of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, I can certainly see some kind of enrichment that gives you a bonus. I don't know. That's the kind of stuff I really like. The best gift imaginable would be something that gives you like 5% bonus in all game modes. Oof. Give me that play to win, guys. Give me that 5%. Oh yeah. Maybe a little bit of a long shot there, boys. But I don't know, it might happen. And that's the sort of thing that really appeals to me.
Permanent booster, permanent birthday booster.
Oh, Inks. Oh, talk dirty to me, Inks. Oh man. Some kind of permanent booster. Yes.
Permanent 5% in all game modes.
Yeah, that's
permanent
what I'm talking
timey
about.
tonic. Let's go. Combat timey tonic. You're always crippled.
Yeah.
Wait, whoa!
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Man.
You basically just apply perma cripple. Yes.
My life will be complete. I've always wanted to be timey all the time.
Exactly. The dream is alive.
Roy, can't believe that. So toxic.
I'm sorry.
This was
Sorry.
the positive side.
Yeah. Now it's just Mike. Now he's the only one left over. Okay. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the anniversary is of course exciting, but to kind of steer it back to the events thing, I was wondering, what do you reckon? Will they bring stuff like the Marionette, right, as maybe a new kind of festival? What about History Week? You know how they had Boss Week? History Week, guys. Okay.
Sure.
You know that one thing that happened one time 4 years ago?
Exactly.
Boss Week.
The Marionette will be kind of cool, and hey, the Queen's Gauntlet. When did that happen, Deroir? Yeah, that's right. 4 years ago, right? Something like that. We can bring it back. 9/11 week. No. Okay.
Fucking A. All right.
I do think I don't know that they will do this, but I do think they could fit one more festival in around the May time frame.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sort of to balance things out, because we've got 2 towards the end of the year. We now have our summer festival back. Well, we got SAB in April, but we really could use a new world for SAB, which
Maybe,
I really don't think is coming.
That's exactly it. Right now. Okay. if they want to expand on any of the festivals now's the time. Everything's set in stone. All of the festivals are in place.
Yeah, I take it back. They don't need one in May.
If ever there's a chance that we might get a World 3 for Super Adventure Box, next year is the time. If it doesn't come by then, it will never happen, guys. Ever. Don't even wish for it. It will never happen if it does not happen next year.
That's okay.
Calling it now.
Trib mode. I like the infusions, but trib mode, oh my gosh.
It's so easy though. Easy mode. Yes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Easy mode. Ooh, now suddenly I'm excited.
I really don't think I even played much of SAB because there wasn't anything really to do.
I don't think I really
for someone who's experienced it before. That is, you know,
it's cool. It's very cool to play for the first time, right? Very.
I did dailies and then bounced out.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, they're
maybe there's no room. Maybe there's no room then for any more festivals, but I don't know. I think it could be cool. Maybe at least they could kind of rotate them out, like, you know, this time we have that time we have the other one, but kind of to bring back some of the old stuff that was experienced. But then again, I actually think it was probably a massive amount of work. I was amazed they even brought back stuff like the Queen's Gauntlet because I imagine a lot of that older code, right? That older stuff that they had in the game was probably not that compatible with what they have now, right? So
I would bet they worked on it quite a while.
Yeah, I imagine that would be pretty damn difficult to bring back, right? So I was kind of surprised they even did that. So that kind of indicates that maybe they do have some plans to revitalize some of the old content to kind of keep people satisfied for a little while, right? But who knows, right? Who knows? Who knows indeed?
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
The future is bright.
Exactly. The future is bright.
Guys.
PMA.
So hold on. People always talk about Dragon Bash.
Dragon Bash sucks.
What was in Dragon Bash? Just Dragon Ball, which is now in Lunar New Year, right?
Yeah.
What else did Dragon Bash have?
Fuck all.
Holographic
I don't remember.
mobs to fight in the open world. That's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Holographic mobs.
A cool holographic dragon in Lion's Arch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a janky song that kind of like freaks me out. The songs I don't like. No, like the Smash the Dragon song was like, oh my god, make it just please make.
Was
it
that
stop.
the PvP thing with? I'm trying to remember what Dragon Bash even is. Like, wasn't there like a special PvP thing where you collect orbs or something, or like what even was it?
Yeah, but that's in Lunar New Year now. They combined it together.
It was a really weird festival celebrating our racial hatred for another species.
Oh, there was the mower race. Okay,
I mean, it ain't wrong.
Okay. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was because we killed Zaitan, right?
Yeah. And now we've killed so many
Nice.
more things. We can't celebrate it.
See, that's one of the ones I didn't really play. Some of them they could bring back and they'd be fun, but they have to be careful choosing.
Not Dragon Bash, please. I don't want Dragon Bash. I don't want it.
Well, like what I'm, I always sort of get around to is like Dragon Bash has sort of been smashed into Lunar New Year, like they're,
yeah, it's true. I have to fuse that together, and I don't know. Not my favorite one. It was always a bit of a mess. Even when it was on release, it was a bit of a not really, not that impressed.
Reaper's Rumble would be nice if that came back, but yeah,
that's also part of another festival.
The Halloween, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Marionette fight. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of things I could do, but boss week with CMs.
With CMs. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Now, guys, I think we're
world boss.
Yeah, we're really starting to grasp at straws a bit. Actually, that is actually a pretty cool idea. World boss CMs. Not gonna happen. Imagine if you could turn an entire map into hard mode, but there is absolutely no way that's gonna happen. So it's not even worth considering. And you know what? I think, seeing as that's where we've got to, I believe it is time to wrap up. Tea time. Okay? Ooh. It is time. Okay? Prepare for the shilling, guys. I hope you've got your follow buttons ready with those sub buttons too, guys. Start navigating over to the Twitter. Get over to Twitter, guys. You're about to get some juicy follows, guys. Okay? Prepare yourselves. Okay. Wonderful. New guest. Okay? A delusional elitist Okay, he's a blue Char Guardian. His fashion wars is blinding. Okay, it is Mike the Gemini. What are you? Okay, in the scene.
I'm I mainly stream endgame PvE in Guild Wars 2, and it's been fun meeting people. And so yeah, if you want to see some endgame PvE, come check me out. It's Mike the Gemini, and give a follow on Twitter too or whatever. Yeah, thanks.
All right, that's concise and clear, crisp. I love it. Okay, and then moving up, it is the lovely Deroir. Okay, no longer is he a rando asshat. He, in fact, he ran all the way to the other end of the gender spectrum to escape the hate. It is Deroir Gaming.
It is Deroira Fractal Goddess. Please, thank you. Yes, thank you. It's me. Yes, you guys have probably heard about me, so I'm not gonna go down the whole line of everything. But yes, follow me, Deroir. Twitch, lots of Twitch every day. Twitter as well. Hey, yes, let's go. YouTube, boom. Thank you guys. Very appreciate it.
All righty. Be sure to get on that. And then moving over, the most requested person to come back on Tea Time. It is MMO Inc. Some people dislike any Tea Time that doesn't have inks on it, guys. So we'll see how it goes for us today. MMO Inks.
Happy birthday to Teapot. For those who don't know, he turned 400 and something, since every day is his birthday. But it was actually his real birthday just the other day. Got my ArenaNet business card. I know you're jealous.
Yeah,
Don't be jealous.
Phil's birthday, man, dude.
Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at MMO Inks. YouTube's been a little bit stagnant, but we've got one more video coming within the next day or so about the festival, about the Dead Quaggin. A little bit of flavor there for the Dead Quaggin carrot, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I've been streaming on Twitch. I've actually been sick for like a week and a half, but we'll be on Twitch again soon.
All right, so be sure to get on that, guys. And finally, still adorned with balloons. Okay, it is I. Okay,
birthday week.
Yeah, I did. Okay, I'm just gonna say it, guys. You gotta chill hard, okay? I'm gonna have, seriously, I'm gonna have a birthday every fucking day, boys. Okay, look at that. Ooh, Guild Wars 2. It's time to have a birthday. I'm gonna be like the Queen. Okay, Queen in the UK, official birthday, and also like royal birthday or some weird shit. I don't know. We're doing 2. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully, you enjoyed the stream. It was a spicy tea time, boys. It really was a spicy tea time. We will commence the raid shortly, but before we do, be sure to follow this stream. Follow all of our wonderful hosts today, guys. Links are below, and the bot is spamming them as well, so get in on that action. And of course, guys, be sure to follow me on Twitter and unfollow MMO Inks, okay? Find out where the good content is. Get on this. Also, by the way, we've got a new contender, okay? Deroir has maybe had a little bit of action on Twitter recently, okay? He may have got some attention. I don't know why this is happening. He's got a bit of a surge, so we're gonna need to take him down, okay? But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Follow, subscribe, watch every single day, open multiple tabs for all delusional elitists, okay, because those are the only good streamers. Everyone else, garbage, okay? Just gonna say it. I'm saying nothing, but I'm saying that. Okay? So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll be back. Deroir streaming every day. Mike streaming all the time as well. Hey. Inks is gonna go hard. He's going hard. He's going big. Okay, so we love you all, and we will see you guys in our next piece of content on the internet. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you later.